Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, the final U.S. Open show before the big day. We've been doing so much content, I just wanted to get here, but it's time to finalize the picks, the DraftKings ownership, the weather, give away some cash to the people who did so much work in helping support this show. You shouldn't stop, by the way. Retweet this show around, leave a rating and review. We need 4 more Canadian Apple reviews to get to 600 total, which is huge. We need like 300 more to get to 5,000 American reviews. No matter which country you're in, please leave those ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Huge help in boosting this show. We've also decided, after consulting the people, to leave in the chat portion of this show on the audio feed. So you're welcome on that part if that's something you like. If you're not welcome if you don't like it. It's just the way that it's going to be. So here's what we got going on. Bets, weather, DraftKings ownership, pivot plays into the live chat. If you're watching this after the fact, use the time codes to jump around to where you are. FantasyNational.com/Mayo gets you 20% off. The Listeners League, I don't know if it's full yet or not. It's very close to full, so if it's not, you might want to go get your spot right now because that's going to fill probably by the time that we end this show. In order to ask a question, you need to be subscribed to Mayo Media Network on YouTube for at least 1 minute. So go do that right now. By the time it's time to ask questions, you'll be in there able to ask whatever you like. And if it's not good, you're going to get banned for life. Don't worry about that because that's going to happen multiple times because it's Major Week, new people, terrible questions, kick him to the curb, never have to see him again. It's all good stuff. Want to give away the winners of the $200, the $100, the $100, and the Justin Herbert rookie card as donated by Jeff Feinberg. The winner of the $200 cash giveaway is Sean Nygren. Congratulations, Sean. Kyle Bell Cook is a $100 winner, and TMJ_777 did a lot of great work in retweeting this week, got himself a lot of ballots in the draw, and boom, he won $100. And the winner of the Justin Herbert rookie card is JDiz1617 on Twitter. Congratulations, you have won a Justin Herbert rookie card. Tambo, I don't know if the stocks are down on cards, like stocks are down across the board everywhere, but hopefully not.
That's fine. I'd still take it. If you are going to take a card right now, it would definitely be a Justin Herbert rookie card, a guy from the future that we're going to love to see. So it's a good win, if you ask me. And so are the $200 and $100 prizes as well.
Yeah, you can go enter as many, use it for whatever you'd like. You don't even have to enter a DraftKings contest for it. You just take the cash and run if that's what you want. Hey, you won. You can do with the money. It's your money now. It's no longer my money. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you, everyone, this week for all the support. Again, leave the rating and review if you haven't already. And do it for the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast as well with Kenny and Tambo. A great, very successful show on YouTube so far this week. I think it's the highest rated show ever.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good week, and we finally got some stuff figured out in the back end to pump those ratings up, but appreciate all the support. Like you said, same thing going for us with the retweets, comments, likes, ratings, reviews, all that stuff is good.
Let's get to the bets. Here's what I got going on. I'm betting Scotty Scheffler. I'm still waiting for a better number. 16 is the best on the market right now. I'm good with that. I'm good with 15, to tell you the truth. But what's the harm in waiting till tonight to see if it gets any better? Maybe a boost pops up somewhere. There was talk of he plays in the PM wave on Thursday, that by the time he takes the course, let's say Rory or Rahm goes out and has a good round, does he get just automatically bumped down to 20? I don't think so. So I'll probably do it before lock, because in case those guys get wiped out in the morning and with unforeseen weather, or who knows. But 16 is probably the minimum that I'll play him at right now. I'm still going to wait out, but he's going to be on the card. I like Scotty Scheffler to win. Shane Lowry, 40-1 with 8 places. Daniel Hauserberger, 66-1 with 8 places. Sung Jae Im, 66-1 with 5 places. Very Anderker, so watch out. Keegan Bradley, 8-1 with 8 places. I played a top 30 on Taylor Montgomery, flea market, plus 375, and Ari All 5-1 on the top 30. First round leaders, I am targeting the earliest players on the course. It does appear to be the best time to be out there, all with 5 places. So you have Straka 125, Kitayama, Hostler, and Patrick Rogers 150-1, and Ari All 175-1. I'm going Scheffler for my one and done. Jeff has selected Sam Burns. Colin Morikawa is going to Tim Andercust this week. Although Paul brought up something before the show for one and done strategy. Dustin or Louie?
Yeah, I love that. The Paul Pro tip. I think it was good. Talked to them outside, said it's a good call. These guys aren't going to play the PGA events, at least as of now, so why not get him in while you can? If you still have Dustin Johnson, I would use him. I think Louis still fine at the Open. I'd rather DJ here, Louis there, if you want to use out your live guys, but that's if you have them. If you don't, I think Louis still fine. We're not going to bring up all the stats. We'll get to him later, maybe when we get to Sungjae, but he did have good live stats last week, Louis.
Yeah, not
go back
Sungjae.
and look. I don't know about Sungjae. I'm talking about DJ and Louis at the live event. Louis had better stats. DJ kind of pounded it out there and just made it up with the irons by the looks of things.
Yeah, it was interesting because they're back to using like 1991 stats on the Live Tour. No strokes gained over there. It's like greens and regulations, putts per round.
Total putts. I love that one.
TP. You got to get some TP in your life. I mean, we are using TD a lot this week with total driving and trying to figure out who we want to use. I don't know if I'm done with the betting board yet. I wrote this in the newsletter last night. The newsletter tonight, the most important newsletter of the week, that is going to have the ownership projections, the final betting card, because I'm still thinking about Spieth. I really am. I'm thinking about Cameron Young. I'm thinking about Max Homa. Like, these are guys that are still on my radar. And at the site that I use, where you get the 8 places on the outright bet, I wrote about this last night too, that like I like Luke List, I like Siwoo, and I like Gary Woodland, and there's a few guys down the board, even Seb Straka, I do like a lot here. That when we think about it, I looked at their top 10 odds, and the example I used was Luke List. His top 8 with the each way, where you still get the equity of the 151 if he somehow ends up winning. He's not going to win, but if he did, it's 150 to 1. But you split up your bet. Let's say you go 10 and 10. So you go 10 on the 150 and 10 on the 8 places, which is 30 to 1. His top 10 odds are 11 to 1.
Yeah.
So it's better. I'll lose the 8 places. I'm investing less money, and I'm getting more payout on it.
I actually bet List last night 175. It's down now to 150 on same book, but I wanted 200, but I was like, that's just not coming. I just don't think it is, and I like it with the 8 places, so I'm good with that. So Luke List 175. I've got a couple better numbers than you, but I'd like to buy half of your Lowry bet because I missed that boost, and it's the one I'm most disappointed in missing. But I got the Burger at 80 to 1 with the boost before you got it at whatever 60, I think you said. And I bought Homa at 5 places earlier preseason at 100. So I like having that one because that's a big number on Homa. I'm waiting just to see, but Cam Young and JT is what I was hoping on. JT with the same theory that you mentioned on Scheffler. Look, guys got JT at 80 at the PGA Championship, and he came back. I don't think that's going to happen at US Open, but Cam Young, I'm just deciding on. And then the last one was, what did you mention? Oh, Scheffler. Are you interested at 80 to 1? On Scheffler, because that's the boost right now. Is first round leader.
I already bet it.
You did? Okay. I was gonna say.
I think I put $15 on it just for like peace of mind. They're like, okay. I know I'm going to bet Scheffler anyway. Yeah. But he is a part of what seems to be the more difficult part. Not that that's probably going to affect him all that much. It's probably a good transition to talk about the weather in the newsletter. Again, coming out again tonight, and just go subscribe to it down in the description. Completely free to join, and you don't get one every day during non-major season. But during major season, people wanted the content, so I've been a content machine this week. I've been really going for it. I can't wait to relax once the tournament starts, and then relax till the Open Championship. Yeah. But the weather, I've had the hot link in there all week, and it did flip a little bit earlier on. I was looking at the super forecast for Thursday, and it's down in the mornings-ish, because the gusts are still going to be pretty high. But you're looking from like 7 a.m. until noon. It's going to be around like 10 miles per hour, gusts up to 20, and then for the rest of the day, it's like 12 to 14 miles per hour with gusts up to like 25 to 30. So not substantially more difficult in the afternoon. Doesn't mean the first round leader can't come from there. The winner can't come from there. This is not what we saw at the PGA Championship. And that's what I want to clarify for people. Yes, the draw bias does look a little bit AM, PME, but I don't think it's something you have to move on right now.
I don't see any, to me, it's just something that people are making up because I'm looking
they
at the same things
want
there
it to be there.
We've seen it at the Players. We saw it at the PGA Championship. I'm going to bet on talent. Talent comes through in any weather. Like Scotty Scheffler versus the wind, take Scotty. I honestly don't care at this point. JT's been fine. He's been able to beat the wind, so I don't really care about the waves as much as focusing on the bigger thing at hand, which we're about to get into, but is the actual pricing being softer, the ownership, all of those factors, and just roster construction in general, because it feels like a week, Pat, where the chalk is just so good that it's almost like you have to find different ways to get unique within that chalk. And we'll talk about some of them, of course. But with weather, it's actually even changed since I drove over here to lean even more that it's pushing towards AM, starting to look like the rest of Thursday afternoon. So with the gusts and with now 10 to 13, instead of this morning, it was like 8 to 9. Who cares? like these are low miles per hour wins that we're not going to worry too much about. I think it's going to just be the best players come through.
See, I'm completely on board with you. If you wanted to do one, I would say it's probably AM, PM, because it does now look like on Friday afternoon during the later wave, so the AM on Thursday, the PM on Friday, that there's going to be some rain and decreased winds, but they might get taken off the course if there's lightning or something like that. So they might not even get able to be taking advantage of that. Then they get put back out in like 25 mile per hour winds. So.
I don't mind in like showdown, first round leaders, stuff like that. If you want to go there and take the better of it and try it, sure. But don't forget, we've tried this past events as well, like not the PGA Championship where it was awesome. I actually had a great run there, but where you look at like you could build 5 guys NJT or 5 guys in Scheffler. If you even still, I think that's fine because I'm not worried by this afternoon that Scheffler, JT, and those types have to go out in. I don't see it being a big problem for them.
Yeah, I think that the defining point with all of this, where it was different at the Players, although we got it wrong because of the rain, and we got it right at the PGA Championship, is that there's no easy time at this course. It's going to play hard regardless of what goes on, and it's not like, hey, starting at 1 o'clock, it's so out. Right. There was like projected 47 mile per hour winds at the PGA Championship. That's not happening here. It's going to be like mid-20s at most. Maybe it doesn't even materialize. So guys can play well through that wave anyway. It's not as big of a detriment as it was at those other spots. So
the course is hard no matter what. Yeah, and there's not 50 mile per hour winds or 30 mile per hour winds here. It's just not. So to me, I don't see it.
People want to make it a talking point. Maybe they're right. I just don't see it. Yeah. And it might turn out that way because sometimes it turns out that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just get lucky like that, like you said, if you want to play wave stacks, I never have a problem with it anywhere. I think it's a way to actually correlate in a sport, a DFS sport, where you don't really get a lot of correlation beyond stat stacks or wave stacks with tee times, things like that. So go ahead if you like, but not something I'm trying to get into big time or anything.
However, I did play, when you mentioned showdown and first round leaders, I did try to target some of the earliest guys out on the course, especially the lower end guys that I needed to fill out my lineup. I gave you the first round leaders that I like. They're all out real early.
Oh, yeah.
And if like the back end of my showdown teams, they're going to have those guys on them.
You're all in on beyond just the content this week. You're all in on all the games out there. The first round leaders, the first round showdown, got the classic slate, everything we're going to talk about here. So you're doing it right, Pat. That's what I like to see.
Let's get into the DraftKings ownership because I've felt like this is very difficult to figure out. I thought we had a very good gauge on how this was going to work when me, you, and Raza talked on Saturday. Matt Fitzpatrick was leading the Canadian Open at the time. Very clearly, he was going to be the number 1 owned player. He is not going to be the number 1 owned player anymore. He might not even be the highest guy of the 8,000s anymore.
It's potentially, set up where we could see Burns, I think, be higher than
Or Berger.
Yeah,
or Finau.
We'll talk about Berger, I guess. Like I actually think Berger is the one that could get squeezed here because
you have
Finau, you have Burns, you have Fitzpatrick. Everyone still likes a little Neiman and Homa at the top and bottom. It just, they can't all get owned. Again, what it does tell me, though, and just looking at we talked earlier a little bit about what we're going to talk about here is roster construction, that everyone's pounding this 8K range in. Right? Even though there is guys in the 9K and there is Rory up top and we have all these conversations to have, the 6K range is being ignored. We'll get to a few guys later for sure. I know you've got some too, but the 8K range is just getting pounded here. So that's the one main takeaway that I got out of the gate.
So play who you like to play.
I just think it's whatever you want to do in that range. It's just, I think about it overall from not just who you play, but how you play, as I always quote on here. But like you want to build your lineups differently. Not many people, here's an example right out of the gate. Sky just posted this, our guy at SkyhookDFS, he just posted it out on Twitter about the lineup constructions in these tournaments, the megas, the $20 millies, and that not too many people put an 8K guy as their second guy into the lineup. So a lot of people start with a 10K guy, but where do you think they go? Like we talked about on Saturday, they go to Xander or Lowry, exactly, and then they move down from there to their 8K guy. Third guy in is popular, but you can switch that up, and at the U.S. Open is probably a good spot to do it because look how good that 8K range is. So you are losing out on skipping the 9K range, but are you losing out? That's what we'll find out as the tournament plays out.
Or you can try to factor it a little bit differently because Lowry is picking up a lot of ownership as the week goes along. I personally think he is the number 1 play on this slate in points per dollar. How he factors out, he's too cheap. Simply, he and Sungjae are simply too cheap for where their talent level is and the performance that they've put up. And they're going to be extremely popular because of that. I'm good with playing both those guys. Mm-hmm. That's chalk I'm going to eat. I'm not playing Rory.
Yeah, Rory's the one up top where it's tough because, like I said, you've got all the other guys around him. Nobody wants to play the guys below him, which is Morikawa, Smith, even lump in Hovland there if you want at 9,700. But going up, you've got Scheffler, you've got JT, and you've got Rahm. JT and Rahm also not that sneaky. Like, you're picking your guy up here is my opinion. And when I do my stuff, it's always the same way. I'm struggling not because to figure out the ownership. It's that even Rory at the 20, or I guess it's the $15 Millie Maker this week, in that, even if he's 25% in there, he still grades out on my stuff as just as good as the guys around. You're not really gaining that much leverage moving to a 18% John Rahm or a 19% Justin Thomas. Just pick your guy.
Yeah, but I think it's a coin flip between those four guys.
For sure.
How you want to go with it.
Even that's what I'm saying. When you add the ownership to Rory, it's not like the others are in at 10%. You have to go the other side of that coin, which is the guys below, Smith, Hovland, Morikawa, to get that real ownership break. But then I think you're sacrificing a lot of floor and of what we know with Rory, the potential ceiling. It just really is tough to go back to back. I know we did it back in whatever it was.
Hey, listen, I'm good with Rory winning this week, even if I have no DraftKings.
You got the double.
I got the double. That will more than pay for any losses I'll take on DraftKings. But I just think Scheffler rates out the best. And when we take a look at him, the tee to green continues to be immaculate. Mm-hmm. It's just he was gaining 4 strokes a week putting, and he's not doing that anymore. It doesn't mean he can't do it again. But floor-wise, I think it's between him and Rahm. Is like the most likely to finish inside the top 15 with all the upside of winning this event as well. And if Scheffler's going to be the least popular of the 4, and I think that he is, but I don't think that's the determining factor in it. I just think that he is the most likely to win of those 4 guys.
I don't disagree. I think like he's in my pool. Like that's the guy up top where what are we doing? The guy he can't do it anymore. He's not Tiger. We know that. But guys go on runs. Guys continue to do well. I think it's a spot that you should be playing him. And I think it's tough for people. I think that 11-3 is going to throw them off a little bit because like I said, you can't really get to everything you want there. It is $800 more than playing a Rory McIlroy. And you might say what you want about it, but $800 is your $7,500 guy has to go down. And then people are like, oh, now I'm stuck in the 6K range. Who do I pick? I don't really love this guy. They'll change their mind on a Ryan Fox or a Denny McCarthy at 6,700, whatever it might be, and just say, I'm going back up. I'll go with Rory and Keegan instead of Scheffler and Denny McCarthy or Ryan Fox. That just doesn't feel comfortable to them.
No, and it doesn't feel comfortable to me if my 2v2 is Scotty Scheffler and Adri Arnaus versus Rory and Sungjae.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's going to play Rory and Sungjae.
Yeah. We should talk about that. I think that is important to think of because one thing that hasn't changed, regardless of what you think about ownership and how challenging it is, and I'm with you on it, like to figure it out for the entire slate from a perspective of now who is the real leverage, because what I mean by that is we know who's who, but like DJ, Cantlay, do you want to play those guys?
No.
That's where you have to make a decision. Hovland.
Cantlay, yes, I could see playing. I'm not playing DJ.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk me into it, but I don't feel good about it.
I don't necessarily want to talk you into it. And then we're on the same page, but where I'm going with it is just saying like the chalk we know. So Rory, X, Fitz, Im. Of course, Burns goes into that mix now. Of course, we can name the other 5 guys that are the fringe guys that are going to slide into it.
Here, I will just straight up tell people the guys that people are not using this week.
Keep it going. What do you got?
Cam Smith, Morikawa, Hovland, boom. No one's using. No one being relative to the guys around
the rest.
them.
Yeah.
DJ, literally no one's using him. And then you have Brooks, no one's using him. Horschel will be like 7, 8, 9%, somewhere around there. Hatton, legitimately no one is using. Bryson, no one is using. Bryson's almost factored in like the same as Paul Casey when it comes into ownership this week.
No one's using Bryson.
And he's not playing. Answer, no one's playing him. There's a bit of steam for Louis, but he's still way under-owned versus everyone else around there. Gooch, no one's using. Seamus Power. Webb Simpson and Munoz are getting a little bit of an uptick. Harris English, legit, no one's using him. And then you have basically Davis Riley, Harold Varner, and Justin Rose, and Brian Harmon near the bottom of these 7,000s. And everyone else in between is just relatively unowned.
Perfect. And I love that. So there's my question is, or trying to make the point with the question is, what do you do there? Because it almost feels like I'd rather take my chances on the DJ, Cantlays, Hovlands, the elites. If you said that, because down low when I'm switching off of guys like
but what's the opportunity?
Connors,
but what's the opportunity cost here? You're going off of you're not using Xander or Spieth or Zalatoris. You're using DJ. You know those other 3 guys are probably going to be pretty good, and you have question marks about DJ. Or you don't use Justin Rose or Davis Riley or Harold Varner, and you use Siwoo, Luke List, Gary Woodland, hell, Adam Shank, Eric Van Rooyen. Those feel like more like coin flip situations to me, and I feel like it accomplishes the same result.
Well, I think one thing you're forgetting I talk about all the time is you're allowed to play DJ with those other guys.
Sure.
I can roll DJ, Zalatoris, Lowry. and play that as a lineup, and it's pretty damn good. It avoids the 10K range
But
above.
I would feel better using Hovland instead of DJ.
Sure, you can. And that's this is the argument I'm making, though, is I don't feel as good about pivoting off of like a Sung Jae or a Corey Connors or all those, even though the chalk can bust, those guys just feel like bad prices. And I don't actually feel like the guys around them are coin flips as much as up at the top where it's elite golfers. Anything can click for 1 week for an elite golfer. Down low, like Sung Jae is just purely mispriced at 7,600.
I guess
He's cursed, I know, but still.
Well, I mean, there is that.
Does this break it, by the way?
It was Tim's birthday when he made the pick, so listen, I have a bet in on him. I'm using him on
So is the
DraftKings.
birthday narrative going to get him out of this when Sung Jae Im finishes top 10?
I think so, that everyone will be in on Tim's U.S. Open picks for next year if he makes the picks on the show on his birthday.
I just want to
His
make
actual
sure, because
birthday.
everyone brings that up to me, and there is such a thing, and I'll say, hey, we've seen it.
Hey,
We know-
if you have faded Tim's picks for the past 5 years, you would be up a lot of money.
Someone asked yesterday on you put out the thread or whatever, and they're like, did anyone ever keep track of this for him? And I think you said something about pen and paper, but it would take a lot to track down all of the curses.
The
and
last
add them
time
up.
the last time that he hit a winner was Rory McIlroy at a WGC Mexico, I think.
I thought it was Scheffler recently when we didn't allow him to have it because everyone was like, oh, you can't say that now because...
Yeah, he picked Scheffler going into the final round at the Masters when he was up by 4.
All right, fair.
And then he actually picked Scotty Scheffler at where? The PGA Championship.
So Kawa is really in big trouble. The top
Yeah, well,
price
I mean,
guy.
there was the prevailing Kawa narrative now that, like, he's not hitting the ball the right way, he's not playing a cut anymore, it's just naturally fading on him. Everyone's like, hey, this is just like the week before the Open Championship. I would say, like, this is the reason why I don't like DJ. If there was underlying stats showing that he had been playing well at some point this year, that would be one thing. But he's been playing like crap for like 12 months.
Live golf. I told you the stats are out there.
Give me Horsfield then. Give me Louis.
Louis looks really good based on that, by the way, just a side note. Now, that's what I'm saying. I'm comfortable in that range, finding some others, but I just, like, I don't feel as good about what you mentioned with, like, Woodland, List, those guys. I've got List in my pool, for example. I'm taking the risk, but I'm just saying I think it is interesting, some of these pivots up top, because Cantlay, what's the story? Like, it's the majors, right? He has his major history is horrible. But at some point, a guy that's won multiple times on tour, won a FedEx Cup recently, like, can he not go out and play well this one major? I don't know. He's priced at 9,200. I think you can find out, and you could still pair him. Like, I think that's a great lineup. We talked about it earlier in the week, but like a Spieth, Zalatoris, Cantlay.
I think Hideki comes in less than Cantlay.
I like Hideki,
and I'd rather
too.
use Hideki.
Yeah, I agree. I like Hideki here, but
I also think Cameron Young comes in under 10%, and I love Cameron Young. And I think he comes in lower than that because you talked about it. Here are the guys that are chalking the 8. His name wasn't brought up.
Mm-hmm. He's getting squeezed.
He's getting squeezed.
Yeah. It's certain on that. I mean, he's also the sort of, I know it didn't fully come through last week, but all the talk last week, remember $9,700 Varner? There's no way you can play Varner at $9,700. Didn't fully come through because I know all the guys up top kind of got there. But the point was the guy didn't play bad for what he was supposed to be last week at $9,700. Cam Young can come through again at $8,800. He was literally standing on the 16th tee. And we're talking about Mito at the PGA Championship. Cameron Young was 6 under. With 3 holes left to play before the double bogey and got out of it. He could have been in the playoff tour. He could have won that event. And I know he shot an 84 one round last time. But once you're out of it that day, you're kind of out of it.
Yeah, he lost 5.7 strokes on approach in that one round.
Yeah.
And he had gained in 9 of his past 12 previous to that.
Let's go with his history before that. Can a guy have a bad round? Yeah. Can you forgive him? I think so. The guy's been elite at all courses, tough courses. Grew up in this area. His dad's the resident pro at Sleepy Hollow in New York. And that's a really tough course too. Anybody hit me up on that? It was like any amateur shooting like 125 plus, easy, if not higher. So I think it's just a spot where you can go back to him here at 8,800 and try and get some leverage that way.
And I do think that he fits part of the mold that I want with good driving distance and good around the green. Like if you just pair those two things together, that's it.
Yeah.
Because there's different micro ways than macro ways that you can look at this week. Who plays hard holes? Who is great out of the rough from 135, where probably the average layup distance is going to be? All this stuff I think is important. It's a part of an overall puzzle. But to boil it down this week, yes, great ball striking is going to win the day. It always does. Can we predict who that's going to be? We can try. We're probably going to be wrong. But driving distance is. That's why I think it's so important this week, as we've seen the past winners of the U.S. Open over the past 5 years, all big bombers off the tee, even if it was a short U.S. Open or a long U.S. Open. But the one good thing about driving distance is that it's probably the most predictable thing that we have. Yeah. We know who hits the ball far. We know who doesn't hit the ball far. That's a data point for us.
Yeah, that's a bit of the argument, too. I've heard a little bit lately just around like the chalk at the U.S. Open. Because when you think about it, a USGA setup is typically
the same.
A USGA setup. It's not like as predictive as something like the Masters, where course history is literally a thing, like it always is a thing, because it's not course history. We're not playing Augusta National Golf Club every single time at a U.S. Open. We're switching courses, we're switching styles, landscapes, atmosphere, everything. But I do think that is a key point. The setup is still the setup. We've seen the videos. It's the same every year. The thick rough, the fairways that roll out, all the bunkers around the greens, all these things. I just think, again, this course looks extremely tough. So I think just sticking with the mold is the way to go, and then find out through roster construction ways to get different. Don't put Rory X Fitz in the same lineup.
I don't know if Xander gets up there now. I'm starting to think that because you were talking about Spieth going up, and if Rory's going to be like 25, which between 20 and 25, let's say, there's only so much room for Xander. If Lowry's going to be popular and all the AK guys are going to be popular and Sungjae is going to be popular, like the most common build I think you're going to see now, Rory, Sungjae, Fitzpatrick, Burns as 4 guys in. Because you can still figure it out from there. You still have, I think, 75 or 7,600 left. Mm-hmm. So you can go Varner, Connors, or Wise and Riley. Like, those are going to be very popular combinations. How do you feel about starting with Lowry?
I don't have a problem with it. I think that's at least a way you can find
Lowry, Young, Berger, Fitz, Finau, Connors, or something like that.
Yeah, obviously the one thing I would say about that I think people haven't really mentioned yet or are overlooking a little bit is the Billy Horschel win at the Memorial. Forget Billy Horschel, not the name or the play and his middle finger with the problem with it and everything the foreplay dudes found out. But I think that if you go look at it, do you remember the winning lineup we talked about the week after? It was 5 8K guys and Billy Horschel at 7,900. Can that happen again? Because that field was loaded. And still had the top.
And this feels like the type of tournament where that could happen. Now, I put some of the results into my newsletter last night about like different lineup constructions and how that's worked out. That's not typical.
Right. Oh, it's definitely not. I don't remember seeing that before. We joke about it all the time. It's always a content thing that comes up where people are like, hey, can I play 5 8K guys? Like, no, you're an idiot. That tournament, it worked. And funny enough, just to round it out, the winner actually wasn't in the 8K range. It was Billy Horschel at 7,900. And all I'm saying is to extrapolate it out to your point with the Lowry starting point, or whether it's Decky or you want Cantlay, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. I'm just saying I don't think it's that crazy to go like a 9K, 3 8Ks, and a couple 7s and still have it come through. And I always link it back to that. I think even last year, one of the Millies was won without Rahm. I'm just not sure which one it was. And he was
I would say it's the highest stakes one.
It was one of the higher stakes ones, I'm saying, but I don't know if it was the 888 or the Mega last year, but it can easily happen in a spot like that too, where you don't necessarily need it, because when you go to those guys up top, you need so much to come through down low, and we're going to make cases for guys in the 6K range because that's what we do, and it's what we like to put our money behind and play, and we try it. But it doesn't mean it's going to work every time. And funny enough, in that earlier thread I mentioned by Sky, it showed like almost 50% in Megas. Again, it does extrapolate somewhat to the $20 millies and stuff, but people like to play one 6K guy to fit the other guys and make it work. But the balanced builds, or the high guy with more 8Ks and skipping a 9K range or the low 10s, you can get away with it still and have a unique build in that sense.
What are we thinking Rory's going to be in high stakes? 40%?
35. Yeah, that's my guess.
Will you be using him in your main lineup?
He will not be in my Mega lineup. I won the seat last week. It will not have Rory in it at 10-5. Definitely not.
It's an interesting conundrum because everything is just pointing to Rory, obviously.
Floor ceiling, he said. But you said, is it really? Because
I heard that from multiple people that he really wants to win.
Oh, I bet.
Like it's his time. Same with Spieth. Spieth wants to win.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to win because he never wanted to win another major before.
JT doesn't want to win.
Yeah, he doesn't want to win.
There's no way he wants to go back-to-back majors or anything like that. So
of all the guys that were fading, who do you think fucks you? Because I feel like it's Cam Smith for me. I'm just not like nothing screams Cam Smith about this course to me. Therefore, he's going to win at like 8 under.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it'll be Brooks. I don't think it'll be Bryson. I don't think it'll be Abe. So I worry a little bit. I'm not high on Webb. I know a lot of people like Webb, and he's getting some late steam and stuff. He's only 7,400. I worry a little bit about that because he fits the mold of what I'm talking about with roster construction, where everyone's going to play 7,500 and above. When they use their 7K guys, they're not necessarily going to drop down. And I was kind of with you. I like Munoz.
Munoz, Power. I mean, I like Keegan a lot at 75, but I know I'm not alone on that. So Keegan, Munoz, Molinari, Straka, I really like. Do I have this on there? No, I haven't round 1 on. I was making my showdown lineups. I was like, this pricing seems odd to me. So where are we at here? Where are the guys that I have highlighted from down there? All right, Keegan at 75, Munoz at 74, Seamus Power, wherever the hell he comes in, Patrick Reed, Seb Straka, Gary Woodland, Patrick Rogers, Alex Noren, Luke List, Brian Harmon, this isn't the final pool, but these are the guys that I have on my radar, along with Siwoo from $7,000 to $7,500. I'll probably trim 3 or 4 guys out of that, but that's the short list for me.
I worry about like the entire $7,200, $7,100 range because that's where you can end a lineup and get different construction than the guys going with Keegan and above or Gooch or Munoz or any of those guys that they're playing in the last minute here on top of the Ims and the Connors and all the guys in that 8K range. So I worry most about that. And I guess Hatton as well. It doesn't really set up well for him at all. None of these courses seem to anymore. He hates them all apparently, but at 8,000, nobody's playing him.
2% Hatton at 8,000?
Yeah. I've got him at 4. I think someone will find their way in there. But yeah, I could see him doing it. But other than that, I'm not too worried about the other guys like Brooks, any of those guys up there really that I'm thinking to be off. So it's mostly the guys down low that I'm concerned with.
Let's talk the 6K guys. Because
All right,
I'm using them. Let's go. Fuck it. I lose every week anyway. I might as well lose with Harry Hall, Taylor Montgomery, both at $6,400, 2 Corn Ferry guys. Wrote them up in my player note threads along with MJ Diffuse and Brandon Matthews. Brandon Matthews crushes it off the tee. I just don't think he's as complete of a player as these guys. And Harry Hall has just been on a great run on the Corn Ferry Tour, and basically Montgomery's been the second best player on the Corn Ferry Tour. Second best scoring average, second best par 4 scoring average, top 30 in greens and regulation, top 30 in driving distance. A lot of the stuff that I want to see. Nick Hardy at $6,200 I think is fine. And I'm not saying play 50% of these guys, but if you're playing, let's say 20 lineups, 2 lineups apiece for them. You're playing 100 lineups, 5 get you way over the field. 5 out of 100, 5% of these guys?
5%, you're set. A lot of these guys will be 0.5% owned.
So I want to hear about Richard Mansell, Johnny's brother.
I wish it was Mansell, yeah. It'd be
Mansell at $6,100.
Try and sell you on Richard Mansell. This is the guy, $6,100. So I was looking him up. Everything pops up decent for me, and then you go to the driving stats on a site like Data Golf or whatever you want to go to and find it. And he actually is very solid off the tee. And then you go look at his European stats, not the best from last year, but for this year, they all look pretty solid. Sand saves, greens and regulation, and driving distance, 3 things that I think should do well here that I'll take advantage of. And then lastly, his recent form on the DP World Tour is still not that bad. You don't have to, again, it's like a 0.5% owned guy, but if you want to get him into some of your lineups at 6,100, he can make a lot work. And look, I played Chris Gotterup last week at 6,300.
So did it 1/4 of people.
Exactly. So we'll definitely be interested in some Richard Mansell. I like your Montgomery call more than your Harry Hall call. So I will say that.
Well, what do you have against Harry O?
I like that. That's the only part I like, I think, is that when you do the accent. But I don't know. It's close, and they're both the same price, and I don't want to play a bunch of guys down here, so I thought that. And then going back up, the one I want to talk about is Kitayama. So Fox makes sense. I know Ben Coley's on him. I know people talked about him. The projection sites like him.
I feel like Ryan Fox is my guy.
No one talks about Ryan. Your guy. Yeah,
no one talks about Ryan Fox more than I do. I think he is shaken after what happened to him the week after the PGA Championship. And if I just need any sort of non-statistical reason to fade a guy, just to feel like it's an emotional letdown for him. And I'd rather play the cheaper guys than Ryan Fox. I'd rather play Arnaud. I'd rather play... No one's going to use Sam Horsfield. Everyone wanted to use him at the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
And he didn't play all that well. Just played pretty well.
He's on my list.
And now he's a live tour guy. No one wants to play him. He fits what we want to do here.
So what I was going to say, the 2 guys that we sat here on Saturday with Raza and talked about what my theory always is down here is play someone you think will be in the field next year and cost more than this price. And the 2 guys I have are Sam Horsfield at 6,600 and Kurt Kitayama at 6,700. Kurt Kitayama actually has a very strong sample size over playing tougher courses. He drives the shit out of the ball. I think that's why he's going to be like 2% owned. And I think that's what I was going to say with Ryan Fox there and people talking about him, projection sites liking him. You've mentioned him in the past. People have played him. I don't have a problem with playing him and play, a mix of these guys because I only have like 5 guys down here. But I really do like Kitayama and I do like Horsfield. Those are sort of 2 of the guys there at 67 and 6,600.
I'm adding to the betting card right now.
Who?
I'm doing it. I'm putting in Richard Mansell, top 40 finish plus 333.
Do it.
Let's go. Let's get in on that. Where are you at, Johnny Mansell?
Johnny Manziel's cousin.
Where's this guy
Richard
from?
Mansell.
Anyway, what nationality is this guy?
I don't know exactly. I look into everything like the stats and the numbers and stuff, but I actually don't know where he's from.
Richard Mansell. Let's see here. Where are we got?
Doing a really good sell job here. He is from, what does it say here? Long Martin? No, Liverpool.
Oh, he's from Britain?
Yep.
Oh, if you just pair up Richard Mansell and Ari All, then you can play Rory and Scheffler in the lineup.
Maybe that could be the case. But yeah, 27th in driving distance, 4th in greens and regulation, 24th in sand saves, 19th overall for strokes gained. And then you go to his...
Yeah, T3 in Germany. He was 9th at the Dutch. He was T23 at the Saudi Open. It's a fake Saudi Open. And then he was T8 the Betfred British Masters presented by Danny Willett on Sky Sports. So, yeah.
Right up there with Victor Perez, 3rd at the most recent event. So give you an idea there. And then like you mentioned, the Dutch T3, T8, T9, T23, T26. The field strengths aren't even comparable, so I don't care. But it's priced in. He's $6,100. You're not going crazy with this guy.
Do you think he or Nick Hardy is a better play? If you just gun to your head.
I can tell you.
I think Nick Hardy's a better play. Because people have to remember he was injured. And now he's back, and he's been really good. He was even good last week in Canada.
He was, yeah. I still have Mansell better.
Johnny Manziel.
Richard Mansell.
Richard Mansell,
me this pen. That's who we got down here. So Richard is going to come through for us at 6,100. Speaking of last week, though, we didn't talk about this guy at 7,300. Did you have a take on Varner? 9,700 last week. Did his job, man. And I argued him on a lot of shows last week when people were trying to dog my guy at 9,700.
You really liked him.
I was saying, it wasn't just the payout for probability, but it was like people were saying his numbers were so bad, and they were actually better in a lot of cases than some other guys, like similar to Corey Connors, even Fitzpatrick. Like he had numbers that went with it on Fantasy National, on his recent form, on similar courses, all of that. And now he just drops all the way down to 7,300. He looks better to me than some of the other guys that are down there in that 7 to 7,400 range. So I'm going to go back to him. I know usually he shits the bed on a Sunday, but let's get him there first, right?
Yeah,
let's
get him to Sunday, and
see what happens. Maybe he's learned from the millions of times it's already went downhill for him there, and he could find his way through. But even back in the day, like Bethpage, wasn't it, when he shot the 80 or whatever, 81 on Sunday with Brooks. But he was there. He was in the final group. Like he's been playing much better golf lately. I think that is interesting. And then now everyone's coming down on him for all the live stuff. He's out liking comments and agreeing with everything to do with live. But who knows what he'll do? He just got signed actually by FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is, but I hear it's something to do with the similar space that we're in. Never heard of the company before.
Correct.
Sounds awful, to tell you the truth.
Correct. DraftKings.com.
DraftKings.com is
now
where you want to be.
Yes.
But do they just, this would be classic that company that they just didn't do their due diligence and know that he was going to the LIV Tour?
What company?
Or are they trying to get in on the LIV Tour?
Who knows? Wait, did you hear the LIV Tour? I know this, we're sidetracking it every time, but they're going to buy the DP World Tour?
I did hear that, yeah. Feinberg had some insights to that because he used to work for, what's his name, Richard Pelly, who is the commissioner of the DP World Tour. He used to run the Toronto Argonauts. Okay. Feinberg's first job in Toronto was Pelly's assistant. So he does have that content. 6 degrees of Feinberg. He legit knows everybody.
That's incredible. But let me ask you this then, Pat. But the real crowning question here is, if the LIV Tour wants to buy FanDuel, and FanDuel could definitely use some fixing, we know that, would you sign on for 50 times your money right now? I guess you probably can't answer that, but I thought I would ask it anyway.
Would I sign on for? Yeah, I'm going to sign on anywhere for 50 times my money.
Even if it's LIV backed?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I love it. The honesty, baby. Let's go.
Look, I'll be the Taylor Gooch of people and content. Give me enough money that I can retire in 2 years.
We say this all the time. My buddy Big T and I always joke about it with the FanDuel contests. Like we should just let us take it over. We can make these contests better. We can grow your site and make it so much stronger because...
Well, don't. Continue to hire Pat Mayo on DraftKings and keep your golf content strong. Because of that, bets I am making right now: Richard Mansell plus 333 top 40, Nick Hardy plus 33 top 40. When people wonder where all my money goes, besides the outright,
it doesn't
losers,
matter when you win the Rory double anyway. So
yeah, I'd like to win these ones too.
Yeah, you could still win these. That's the benefit.
That is, but that's sort of the conviction that I'm going with. I like Kitayama. I like Horsfield. Obviously, these guys are shots in the dark. Lucas Herbert, if you want to play Mackenzie Hughes and Lucas Herbert, I would recommend playing them together at $6,800 because, like you had mentioned to me before, the rough is deep, but it's all about the breaks that you get in the rough. Yeah. You might have a good lie in the rough. You might have the shittiest lie possible. We saw the Shane Lowry video from earlier today. He was just buried greenside. He took as big of a hack as I have seen anyone take from a greenside shot, and it went legit 2 feet in front of him. Yeah. And then his next shot in the rough was fine.
Oh, exactly. That's the funny part too. A lot of practice reports are coming out. The old Allen Iverson, not the Mexican Allen Iverson, Abe Answer, but the Allen Iverson talking about practice. And it's like everyone, oh, this guy's gonna suck now because he flubbed a couple chip shots
in practice. Yeah,
you know,
they're also working on stuff.
He might be working on that exactly to try and see how the hell this actually plays. And he knows how to play it, but he's testing the waters for potential flyers and things like that. So I just think it's a little bit too much. Anytime I've went off a practice report against it, it's never worked out well. So I'm not going to do that this year.
Oh, the simulations are up on Fantasy National right now. If people want to go check it out, fantasynational.com/Mayo gets you 20% off any membership. And it's going to tell you the good guys are going to win more often because that is correct. I'm trying to find the biggest loser on MJ DeFew. For whatever reason, ranks inside the top 15 in terms of cuts made in top 20s. He's $6,100.
I was just trying to look it up too. What's he at?
He's $6,100.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's our guy. Mansell is the same price.
I mean, there's guys you can. Why don't people talk about hey, can you play all 8K guys? Could you play all 6K guys?
No,
because I'm kind of feeling it.
No, definitely.
Hardy, Mansell, Kitayama, DeFew, give me the $1 million right now. Who's realistic? Who's down here? That is Gooch rates out. Gooch numbers pop. The simulation likes him. I don't think that people are going to use Taylor Gooch.
I don't think they can. That's what I keep coming back to. I think he's the guy that gets some of the steam for sure, from that area. But when you're bringing in Connors, Mito, Fleetwood, and then you've got little guys there like the sort of the Louis, the Munozes, so they're not going to be popular, but they get some of the carryover, the overflow. But then you've got Sung Jae and you've got Keegan Bradley and all that. How does he completely climb up? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, check a few more things after the show, but I didn't see anything on him that would show me that he would go beyond 12%.
Do you know who the second highest rated $6,000 player per the simulations is this week?
Richard Mansell.
It is Richard Mansell.
I'm looking at it.
Oh.
Yes. Let's go. Yeah, no, 6,100. That is interesting, though.
I can't wait for this guy to be fucking 17 over after 3 holes.
It's going to be something like that for sure.
And I won't be able to know. I'll be looking at the screen being if they don't have the Chiron, I'll be like, who the fuck is this guy I'm watching right now? I have no idea who this is. They're like, oh, yeah,
to be fair,
it's Richard Mansell. It's like, oh, fuck.
People don't know who this guy is, but to be fair, he's ahead of Billy Horschel, Tyrrell Hatton,
Justin Rose,
Brooks Koepka.
Shane Lowry.
Do you care? I don't know. Those guys, of course, then it gets crazier down below, but right off the top, he's not, the guys he's on top of, you don't like anyway.
What are his outright odds to win? Oh, now we're talking.
Now we're not.
Now we're talking, Tambo.
333 on the top 40.
$1 million to 1? Is that what we're looking at? He's actually
be.
Only 600 to 1. He's the same number as Adam Shank.
Yeah,
okay. I probably won't do that.
There's no win equity there, but at 6,100.
Now you're telling me there's no win equity.
Well, that's why you
I
bet
just
top
locked
40.
this guy into 100% of my lineups.
Top 40, yes. Top 40, we're good.
I like him better than Fran Quinn. I'll tell you that much. Who's apparently 2,500 to 1.
The Sims do like is Justin Thomas.
Shocker.
Hey, that's just saying.
Shocker.
I don't see
like
Rory
Justin
up there.
Thomas.
I don't see Rory up top. I see DJ above Rory actually on the Sims.
Well, maybe the Sims are broken.
Maybe
you should just play them. Who knows? The simulator worked out at the PGA Championship. Yeah. I think the first thing I said was, boy, the Sims sure do love Justin Thomas. And who ends up winning?
I kind of like making a Sims lottery ticket, like DJ, Munoz.
1, 2, 3, 4. This isn't going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This isn't going to shock anyone in terms of overall wins, but it is Thomas, Rahm, Xander, Scheffler, DJ, and then Rory, then Morikawa. So Munoz super high on this list.
Start with DeFew and Mansell, and then see what you can
and then see who you can afford. Probably all of them at this point. All right, is there anything you think we should hit on? Let's make a prediction for the 5 highest owned guys. I think it's going to be Rory and Sungjae.
Rory, Sungjae, Burns, Fitz, and we're missing a guy, Xander. Or Finau.
Finau feels more likely because you can fit almost all that. That almost feels like a lineup.
So Xander or Burns then, because the rest makes sense. It can actually fit in a lineup. Xander or Burns?
Burns.
You think so?
I think Spieth draws enough away from Xander.
And then
you'll get the contrary.
Lowry, Willie Z.
I don't think Willie Z gets
Willie Z probably gets squeezed, by the way. That's another thought.
I think he comes in under.
On the other stuff,
Lowry will be popular. Spieth will be popular. Xander will be popular. But then you also have to take into consideration the 150 max players who are like, man, no one owns Cam Smith, Morikawa, or Hovland. I'll just use them.
Yep.
And then it'll bump their ownership up a little bit. So I think that the big 3 of Rory, Sungjae, and Fitz, probably Burns as well, or what you're looking at.
And Finau at 8,200. I think people just always love Finau.
Oh, yeah, I'm good with not playing Finau.
See.
I'll play Berger instead of Finau. It's easier for me. Who's the other guy in the 7s everyone's using? Because I think maybe it's flat because you got Keegan, Fleetwood, Mito, Wise, Connors.
Yeah, I don't know if Wise actually. I think Wise gets squeezed too. 2 Connors and those guys that are.
Well, I like Wise
plus him. Yeah, I like Wise. I'm good.
And then from the bottom, it's Riley, Varner, Rose. I think those will be the big three.
Yeah, earlier in the week you thought Henley. We talked pre-show about that. I was curious.
Yeah,
what your
it seems
thoughts were.
like this. I think
steam's gone. Yeah, I agree.
do believe that optimizers are going to like him though. So he'll end up in a lot of the people who generate their lineups using optimizers.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. That's where. But usually, Varner's in that mix too, so it's tough to say. But I think both are interesting, and I think playing lineups with like Henley and Varner down there could be a way to go.
Of those four guys, I like Davis Riley the best.
Yeah, Riley makes the most sense at 7,300. I mean, he's on fire. If you want a game log watch, you could go do that and see what he's been doing. Crushing, good at the PGA Championship, and then also the 69-63 to get into this tournament. I mean, he's got form to even get the Q ticket.
And I think when you go back and look, I'm going to try to do this in real time right now because sometimes I'm as Feinberg remembered or found out on Monday when we had a yelling match. Sometimes I misremember things. The putt that I was thinking of with Feinberg and Fleetwood was the putt he missed on 17 up the hill from distance that stopped like 1 inch short of the hole. Totally forgot about the putt on 18.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was writing a 1,000-to-1 Tommy ticket from Sunday morning.
Jeez.
But he paid the each way on that was very nice. So that really saved my week that week. Davis Riley, when he won on the Korn Ferry Tour, I recall it being at very difficult courses. I think it was TPC San Antonio, something like that. Yeah, it was. The TPC San Antonio Oaks course is where he got his Korn Ferry win in 2020. 70, 69, 66, 67. Most guys were over par that week. Like it does seem, and like Valspar is a hard course. You can score on it, but it is a hard course. And I do think that maybe it's just me trying to play some narrative here, but I think that he plays hard course as well.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I said. Like, again, other people are going to think it, but at the same time, I don't think you're going to see as much ownership just because of the way the area is already set up around it.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get to the guys in the chat?
The simulation lineup contains, we'll just leave it at this so we only give 4, but if you put Dafu and Mansell, it includes Bryson and DJ. So just leave it at that. But I'm going to play it in the $100 just to waste off $100. Be fun. Good content. Good content.
Great. Yeah. Here's us. We're just throwing $100 away. Hey, I just gave away a bunch of money on the show too. Smash the like if you're watching right now. You need to be subscribed to Mayo Media Network in order to ask a question, and subscribe to the newsletter as well, where all the final plays will be and more information, more stats. We're going to have weather closer to the point, and all the hot links for the week are going to be in there. All the information you need to know, plus Tambo's tidbits. And I have a Galaxy Brain. 3 Galaxy Brain lineups that are in there too, including one of trying to see if this is the anti-curse week and all Tim's picks are correct. What do those
See, that's the fun
end up looking like?
Exactly, yeah.
So we'll get to the questions right now. Benny Mack is literally first in this chat. Can you talk him out of playing Brandon Matthews this week? Now, most people are probably asking, who the fuck is Brandon Matthews?
Yeah.
We just gave you like 8 other guys.
I would play all the other guys I said, so I don't know if I can talk you out of it, but I would definitely play the other guys I said before Brandon Matthews.
You guys filtering out players who do, like, filtering in players that do really well at New England courses. Well, realistically, there's TPC Boston and the Travelers. That's it?
Yep. JT won TPC Boston in 2017.
Dustin Johnson, I think, shot minus 145.
Minus 30, I think.
And Scheffler shot a 59 that week.
Yeah.
Or 58, I think.
It was 59 or 58 on, I believe, it was Saturday.
Yeah. And he still lost
Crazy.
by 12
Yep.
to TJ. No, I mean...
I don't care.
Keegan's really the only guy, because he's from that area.
Scott Stallings.
Scott Stallings is from the area. You say Cam Young's from New York?
New York.
Like there are so, I mean, it only makes sense that there would be so few Northeastern-based golfers growing up because you don't get to play half the year unless you move to Florida or move to Texas or move to California. That's why you see players from there play on the PGA Tour rather than the Northeast. But I do think that there is probably something to be said of just growing up with that type of grass, those type of greens, not knowing like these ones in particular, playing out of that style of rough, that style of grass, there's probably like a little bit of an advantage to it. Nothing that's going to sway me on it.
Still got to play good this week.
Yeah, you still have to play well this week against the best players in the world.
Round 1 to get to round 2 to get to be able to make the weekend. Like, it's just dumb. I don't do that.
Any love for Neesmith? Nah.
No.
Bad omens on Lowry being paired up with Liv Lou and Prince Mickelson? I don't think so.
Punish them.
He probably wants it more now, so therefore he's number 1.
Yes, there you go.
Hostler or Molinari is last man in. I don't feel like those two are close in price.
It's not. I
feel like that's
Molinari's 6,900. I know that.
Is he? Okay, I thought Molinari was 72.
I have Hostler on my list because I thought about
it.
He's cheaper for sure. Hostler's 64.
Hostler's another one you could potentially use. Driving distance, putting, and short game. That's all he does. He can't hit a fucking iron to save his life.
Crushing it in the practice rounds, they say. Striping it.
There you go.
I couldn't trust Hostler here personally, but we'll see.
That all depends on your 2v2 of if you use Molinari, who's your fifth man in. If you use Hostler, who's your fifth man in. I think that's a decision.
I'm assuming this is their last man in because they're using Hostler, so they've got to if they're willing to.
Yeah, but that's a $500 difference between Hostler and Molinari. Like you can improve your fifth guy if you use Hostler. Is what I'm saying is I think that's the decision you need to make. If not, use Molinari.
Decide if you want Im or Homo with that $500, for example.
Or depending on how you constructed that lineup. Tambo, for Showdown, which side of the course would you prefer the guys start on?
I said this, this is an original take, I think, because I don't hear other people talk about this stuff, but I like playing the hardest holes first. And from what I'm told, at least, and what I see is like 1 through 4 looks really tough. And why I say that is, well, it sucks on your scorecard, but even a Showdown, who cares? It's a bogey or two, a double bogey.
It frees you up.
What it does is it tells them like, damn, this place is hard. Now they get into the mix of being able, we see it all the time. I use Torrey Pines, north versus south. North is easier. So if you play it on day one, you can get to 5-6 under and then go play the south. But the minute you start making a mistake on the tougher south, your 6 goes to 4. What's worse than think about DraftKings. You see your money go down. Nothing sucks more than that. You're like, damn, I just want my money to say 100K again or 20K or 2K or whatever the number is for you. I like going through the hard stuff first, mentally grind it out, and then pick up some steam and start making some shots down the stretch. So I prefer that.
I don't see anything that would lead to. There's not going to be. Do you think anyone has a birdie streak this week?
I don't see. Someone might because again, these guys are good, but I don't see.
Yeah,
for Showdown, I'm looking for guys that are gonna make pars and birdies. Here and there if they can and just grind it out. That's really what it comes down to.
I would even go the opposite way. I think I just go, and what I did in my lineups, I basically said birdie or better rate, opportunities gained, and just filtered my lineups with early guys who did that.
Oh, for sure. But those guys are going to be making the pars where others are making doubles.
No, I was going to say those guys are going to be making doubles, but they're also probably going to make some birdies.
Which is totally fine. Yeah, we're saying the same thing differently, but I agree with you. You want the guys that have the capability to make that, and if they blow up, it's a hole or two here and there. It's not going to be a bunch of them, so...
Which two do you like out of this group? Oh my God, it's a big list. Mito or Wise?
Wise.
I like Wise as well. So Wise or KH Lee?
Wise.
Keegan or Wise?
Gets closer, but...
I like Keegan. My answer for this range, because it has Henley, Rose, and Harmon as well, is Keegan and Wise, with Mito slightly behind.
Henley, Rose, Harmon. Henley and Wise.
Okay. Thanks, Pat, for the best goddamn content out there. Thank you, Rick, for tuning in. Smash the like while you're there. Question for Tambo and Pat, for that matter. Do you alter your player pool or percentage of your roster with the U.S. Open with the top 60 in cut rule? I don't think about it. I'm just trying to pick guys who make the cut.
I'm just trying to pick guys that can beat a U.S. Open or contend based on their price. So that's all I look at. One thing we didn't talk a lot about, but just to lay it out at this point, because it's a good question for it, is remember position placement points.
Matter.
Well, yeah, like again, you get your 6 of 6. Everyone's so excited, and then they have some loser in there that's absolutely going to get destroyed over the weekend.
That will prevent you from coming in first, but you'll still even if you have a loser.
If you have a 6 of 6.
If you have a 6 of 6 this week, because I expect it to be very low.
Yeah, you'll crush. I'm saying if you're talking about getting to the top, like I'm not using Mansell in my mega for 44, even though it frees me up and just absolutely crushes.
He's going to win.
He's in the Sims, obviously 600 to 1, ship it. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to do that. I want 6 guys in there that have cut equity, good floors, good ceiling. Whether it happens, who knows? $1 million richer if it does. So I'm going to aim for that.
What's the cheapest player you would use in a mega lineup?
Probably one guy at 6,700 or 6,500.
Okay, so you would potentially
use a
go into
6K
the
guy,
60s.
no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying I'm not using the risky dude that we had to go look up his OWGR and where he came from and all these factors.
And that he's Johnny Manziel's brother.
Yes, Manziel. Manziel.
Did I ever tell you I was at a bachelor party in Montreal in the club that we went to? Johnny Manziel was there at the same time, 3 hours before a game with the Montreal Alouettes where he was supposed to be playing quarterback.
Was this when he was going in the CFL?
Yeah. He was in the CFL. He was smoking cigs outside. That's where I saw him.
Any $100 bills?
No. It was not one of those. It was just a club. We were there midday, getting some drink on. Some guy
at this point, it might have been $20 bills actually, because he was down to the CFL level.
Yeah, listen, Johnny's got money. Don't worry about Johnny. But he's wearing this bright yellow hoodie, just having smoking darts out front. People in Montreal love that guy.
Oh yeah, I bet.
2v2, Scheffler Connors or Romberger? I like Scheffler Connors. I like both of them.
I like both of those.
I just like Scheffler.
Yeah, I like the Rom side actually.
Okay. Willie Z and Berger or Spieth and Burns? I like Willie Z and Berger.
Damn, these are just so tough. Willie Z is probably the better side though. I'm liking him at 9,300 this week. So.
I asked this to Rick on the show last night. If you just wanted to pick and choose the guys you wanted to play from that $8,000 range, the 5 quote-unquote chalky guys. So it starts at Fitz, and it goes Fitz, where are we at? Fitz, Berger, Burns, Finau, Homa. Those 5 guys. I think you can realistically play 3 of them. You probably want to play 2 of them, unless you really want to play a lot of lineups and get multiple exposures. But I'm not going to do that. So who are the 2 guys that you would use? I think Berger is a lock for me, and it's between Finau is out, and it's between Fitz and Homa for me.
Yeah, Burns is the guy for me. I definitely like Burns. I think, again, a guy that actually wins. What's the difference between Burns and Will Zalatoris? 3 wins this season?
Who do you think performs better DraftKings-wise?
I still, again, I'm going to ride with Burns. I think
Zalatoris outscores him week over week.
He does, and he's been better in majors by a mile. I'm just saying, when you're getting that type of gap, you got to take it on. And the ownership's on Burns too, so it kind of sucks. But at 8,300, I got a hard time avoiding it. And one thing I will say...
But then why not Homa versus Burns? Homa wins just as much.
What if I like him too?
Okay, so Berger's out for you.
Berger's tough for me but not so much because I'm not as high on Fitzpatrick. We had this conversation on Saturday how I sold you off of him for like 6 guys around him.
Are we to the point where everyone has talked themselves out of Fitzpatrick yet?
To what? To 17%?
No, to like 10%. We just look up and like, oh my God, Finau's 27.
If that happens, that's insane.
Finau is a pure ownership fade for me here because I do think he gets over 20%.
He's
I think
he
ends up the
owned.
highest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think him and Burns definitely get up there, but I would say this is that my whole argument on Fitzpatrick from day one or point one that we made on him was that it really doesn't even matter. The ownership just makes it worse. It's that I don't think he's the best player in this area. I think you could make arguments that so many guys in this range are better than him.
I think that you could make an argument that guys, as Paul pointed out before the show, like are between Rory and Matthew Fitzpatrick. What's the win equity difference? Well, you can't even determine it because it's 21-0.
Yes,
in terms of how to work, and you can make that case with Burns. You can make that case with Berger. You can make it with Homa versus Fitzpatrick and a lot of this stuff. But when you look at his results, especially in tough, difficult courses and just any course overall, just in 2022, 6th, 10th, 9th, 5th, 14th, 2nd, 5th, 10th. Like, the guy's good. And you don't need him to win at this price. Now, do you really think that Burns is going to win this tournament? Homa's going to win this tournament? Or would you take the top 10?
I've got Burns and Neiman better than Fitzpatrick, even on hard courses.
Okay.
And better results and winning on tour. All these factors, so I like them better.
All right, I guess you just don't put a lot of stock into the Czech Masters then.
I put more stock. Yeah, no, I don't. You're right. But he has won huge tournaments overseas for sure, like 7 wins on the Euro Tour. But I would say this is like Burns and Neiman, for example, they've already won on tour at pretty tough events or challenging tracks or whatever, where now they can go get their first major versus is Fitz's first win going to be a major? I don't think so.
See, I would prefer to use Cam Young in that spot just because I think that he fits this particular.
But that's
style.
another example. I like Young better than Fitz to get if someone's getting their first major before their first PGA Tour win. I still like Young.
Okay.
So like all those angles that you can make up. Like Billy Horschel just won the Memorial where everyone loved Fitz and Billy won it. You can talk about it all day. I just think the range is loaded. And to your point on Berger, he has to be getting squeezed, right? There's just no way.
I agree. And
Fitz,
I like him. I like him the best
Finau,
of those 5
Homa,
guys.
Neiman, Young, like everyone, like of course Brooks Koepka and Hatton are getting none. Billy Horschel probably lower, but how can Berger get it too? Like where is this coming from? It has to add up. The ownership has to all add up, right? When you put it all together.
I like it.
So,
I have a feeling that everyone's making like these sorts of like whatever the case against Fitzpatrick, it was all the case for Fitzpatrick 4 days ago. Then everyone heard he was going to be the highest owned guy. Now, all I've heard over the past 3 days is just how he's not a good play anymore.
Yeah, it happens at times. But my point is, and this is where I'm protecting myself, is that I don't care. If he comes in at 12, if he comes in at 12, I'm not going to be like, damn, I should have went with him in the beginning. I never was on him. I never liked him for that reason. So if you have him in a lineup, don't have Connors, Finau, X, Rory. Like, just don't play them all together if you want to use Fitzpatrick. But I'm saying I have reasons to not play a bunch of them anyway out of the gate because I already like the other guys better.
Is stacking skill sets the best lineup construction method for majors? Example, placing a premium on around the green stats. Maybe, but I would say driving is where you want it. I mean, I think combining driving and around the green is a great way to play it.
I just think and Ben does it, and I love it. I'm all for it. I'm just saying it's kind of a cop-out at a U.S. Open, of course. You're stacking the USGA skill set that's required at all U.S. Opens.
You know what's actually severely underrated at this tournament, despite the fact that it is the most important thing that people do? Iron play. Like, no one wants to use Cam Smith, one of the best iron players on the planet. No one wants to use Colin Morikawa, one of the best.
Hovland.
like
Ball strikers. Yeah.
the guys that you would typically use and the guys that you would just, when you go back and look at the stats, the best ball striker is going to win this tournament. It's not going to be the guy who gains 13 strokes putting.
It's always been that, like Memorial and U.S. Open, and they're always this tight knit together, is the tee to green game in general. Just all of it, put it all together, and what have they been doing? And those guys, like you said, some of the best in the game. So you can go build your lineups that way and be unique, and then you could get away with playing. Like if you play Hovland, Morikawa, you can play Sungjae, you can play Connors. And you're still
you could just use one of them, and you could probably still do that.
You're still way different. That's what I mean. That's my point. Is I think it keeps coming back to the same thing. But I care about roster construction more than I care about who are the plays, because it doesn't matter. Like you can use. You don't have to full fade a guy because he's 25% owned here, 24% owned, because it gets so spaced out overall. Even though we know where the congestion is, the total overall ownership always gets spaced out regardless. So the choice is really, how are you building your lineups?
There are 15 spots remaining in the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. The link is down in the description. You can go get them. I'm going to check back in 2 minutes. If it's not full, I'm ending the show.
It's gone.
There we go. I'm not going to get to your question.
They're going to be gone.
They better be gone. Let's see. Just after I said that, although it's on delay, so people wouldn't have heard that as of yet. They'll probably hear it.
So we'll do 2 more questions and then check it.
Yeah, then we'll check it again. Kitayama or Denny McCarthy? Kitayama.
Yep.
I have him as the first round leader in the showdown lineups.
Denny pops in all the stats like, oh,
of course he does.
Like, no, it's funny because I was gonna say even further. Like, they're like, oh, I just did the run on the best putters for this tournament, and Denny McCarthy's up there. And people are like, oh, I should go play him. No shit, he's one of the best putters in the world. Of course, he's on the fucking list. Like, it's Denny McCarthy.
Don't forget to smash the like button. Jesse is correct. You should do that. Sub to Mayo Media Network in the newsletter while you're here. How many people would you recommend for rostering a 20 max entry? We did a whole show on this, and the answer is we don't know. That depends on you. The fewer the better is the rule of thumb.
I think so, because
Me too.
You lose so often anyway that the whole point is when you hit, you need to have outs to actually get to the top. And when you're capped at a number like 20, you have to be able to get up there. So you don't want 20 random lineups off the board. What are we at?
No, we got one more question to go here. We got, hey, Pat and Tambo, am I saying the quiet part loud about Liv? A major concern for golf bettors is if enough win equity leaves and super elites stay, it will result in the 25 to 60 range in cratering it.
I like this question, actually. I know it's bad, but, did you think about this? This has been a conversation brought up with you're going to lose all your value because your 120 to 1 guy is now going to become 60 or 70.
No, because I think the part that people are missing about this is that if you just took the fucking 30 best Corn Ferry guys right now and just injected them into the field, yeah, better players are going to leave. You're going to find
more studs.
1 to 7 good players in that mix that are going to fill those spots. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
And it can open up more edge, the more tours. Like all the sharpest guys I know talk about that all the time. I think that's true. And then secondly, how hard is it to hit a fucking outright? It's impossible at times. So why are you mad that you didn't hit 140 when you only hit 70? I think you would take a 71 anytime you could get it right now. So if that's really what you're worried about, I think you need to think about other things.
I actually think it's going to open up value on the Live Tour. Is where the betting value is going to end up being.
As long as you bet it early, because it goes away very quickly once they see the bets come in.
Yeah. Starting Scheffler, Rahm, getting contrarian, and sacrificing. Am I sacrificing too much win equity with my remaining 4 spots? What does that leave you with if you do that? Scheffler and Rahm. You have 69.75 for 4 guys. Then you have to use MJ DeFew or Nick or whoever it is that you like down there. Horsfield. Johnny Manziel, Kurt Kitayama.
So I said this on the Saturday show because I'm usually completely against this strategy, and I wouldn't do it with very much of my lineups. If you want to dedicate 5% of your portfolio or something, I get it. But a U.S. Open is a spot where you can see a runaway.
And you can see random jabronis making the cut. And
Correct. That's what I mean.
We've seen it.
To our point. So you go, obviously Scheffler, Rahm are pretty safe. You said earlier the 2 safest actually to likely get a top 10 here, right? So if that happens at the same time, our guy, Johnny Mansell, comes through. That puts you at almost 7,300 per spot. Now you're putting 2 or 3 of the same, you're putting 3 of the same guys. A lot of people that are starting Rory, X, Fitz are landing in the similar area anyway, so you can do it.
So you go Scheffler, Rahm, Keegan, Homa, Hardy, Mansell.
Really? Yeah, I didn't even think you needed to go that far. But yeah.
You don't need to, but that works.
That works. I was just saying, yeah, you can do it. And that's my point. Why I don't like it is because you not only need the runaway to happen, which it's possible, Scheffler JT, Rahm Scheffler, whatever, that can happen here at a U.S. Open. Your Mansell guy needs to come through and make the cut for you, and then the other 3 need to be the guys that find their way up to the top. Good luck picking. You're needing, reminds me, Pat, when we do our NFL shows with stacking, and people are like, well, why are you stacking this or doing secondary stacks? It's like a parlay, right? You're needing less things to happen when you've got 4 guys from a game stack in football. You've got a running back opposite of a tight end. Now you need 2 things to happen, those 2 game flows, and now you fill in a couple spots. It's the same thing when you're doing it this way. You need a lot of things to happen in order for that lineup construction to make sense.
Oh, someone said that Jason is getting banned for life, and by the time I got to Jason's messages, they've all been deleted. Oh, Paul deleted them.
Yeah, Jason thought it was the Jason Graham experience.
Well, I'm sorry.
Who's his plays,
wrong.
Paul? Who's his plays?
I'm sorry, but it's the Pat Mayo experience. Jason Graham can go fuck himself or start his own show. I don't really care what he does, but he's not going to be involved in this chat anymore. Do you know why? Because you're banned for life. It's like the N-fucking-W-O over here. Pal, give your head a shake and go fuck off, okay? But play in the Listeners League. It's almost full.
Oh, God. How many did we get to?
Adam Scott or Patrick Reed?
Oh, God. If I had to pick one?
Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed, I think so, too. Just flop leg, right? Last time out, he had the new driver. It didn't work out as chalk, but maybe on this course.
7 spots remain in the league. Thoughts on Kevin Na this week? Or are you two full fade on live players? I'm not full fade on live players. I'm just full fade on Kevin Na at the U.S. Open.
I'm debating the guys at the bottom, like Na. So I like all these guys, but List, Siwoo, Harmon, Na, just because it gets you in a different roster construction.
Do you want my opinion on which
I
two
know
you
who
should
two
play?
you want, obviously. I know you're 2. What I was saying to someone today, though, is I'm not trying to put these plotters together. So, like, and using by plotters, obviously, I mean Harmon and Na down there. I don't think there's massive upside or anything. Like Harmon's done okay in U.S. Opens, but if it is, it would be at 7K my last guy in, and my other 5 would be sort of bombers or guys that put it out there and have the complete game. I wouldn't have a problem with them being the round out for a top 20 or top 30. I think they can do it.
All right, where are the questions at here? The chat jumped on me. I always hate when that happens. Stupid YouTubes. Is Denny going to make the cut for us? Yeah, probably not.
Why do people love Denny so much here?
As
soon as he got brought into the pool.
Because scrambling. That's why. They're like, man, you got to be a good scrambler to play at the U.S. Open. You also have to hit the ball more than 170 yards.
I guess. He does. I mean, it's not the... I don't know. When you look at the specialist stats, he's not bad.
It's not for me.
People like guys that hit 20-foot putts. I wouldn't know anything about it because I play Keegan every week.
Yes, that is correct.
Pick 2. Homa, Im, Lowry, Berger, Cam Young, Connors, Hatton. Like
the best player. Like some of the best plays in the mid-range.
Lowry and Cam Young. Actually, Lowry and Berger. Those are 2 guys I bet to win this tournament.
Yeah, Lowry and Cam Young. You said it first for me. Those are the 2 I like. Pick 2, Pat, from the top. Scotty, JT, Rom, Roy. Like they're the best players in that range. Like what?
Although all the messages are deleted, I did enjoy someone say, "Jason, stop answering people. They're not fucking asking you." It's true. Who do you see as the most likely guy to come in higher owned than expected? I think it's Finau or Fleetwood.
I think it's Burns because the general public doesn't believe it yet, but he actually could come in higher than Fitzpatrick.
Okay. Is Neiman going to be the guy that people like but don't actually end up clicking on? I think that's going to be Cam Young, but I think Neiman fits that profile as well.
Neiman, like we talked about this already, he gets squeezed a little, but he's still
he'll be
going to be popular.
11,
15% or 14%. Yeah, he gets something. It's Neiman still.
Who's your number 1 fade from the 10K? It's Cam Smith for me.
My lowest will be Morikawa.
Any temptation to roster DJ at such low ownership? It seemed like you had interest. I don't.
Yeah, I think in the certain style build, he just allows you to get different, and I like the chalk more down below than I do necessarily up top. So, like, I'm not as high on Rory, X, and Fitz, but DJ would be a guy that I could go to, and they're in between X and Fitz, so I'm okay with it.
Can you think of a reason to use Brennan Grace at 6,900? I cannot.
Crushed it at the Live Tour last week. That would be the reason. Am I using him? Absolutely not.
And he blew it for us at Chambers Bay. Thanks a lot, Brendan Grace.
That too.
Get lucky. Didn't get lucky. What are your thoughts on Nick RDRR?
Liked him a lot last week.
I like him. Listen. I just as we were doing the show live, I played him as a top 40 bet.
I used him a lot. I crushed with him in Showdown last week, and I had him on the main slate. And people are like, "Who's playing this guy? How did you know about him?" He came back from injury, played well at the Corn Ferry Tour event, which made me realize his health seemed to be okay.
And then he qualified.
And then he followed it up again, and he qualified and everything. So I get it. And he's 6,200, but I don't know. It's like
I'm starting to think that he might be the play from the bottom, like more than Harry Hall, more than what the fuck that other guy's name was, MJ DeFew, whoever it is. Like, he's a real player, and his missed cut streak was probably due to the injury that he had to take 8 weeks off for.
Definitely was that.
He comes back, he comes second, he qualifies for the U.S. Open, comes T35 last week, and he's someone that we like ball striking wise.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of it, and like he's had runs on the Corn Ferry Tour, 4th, 5th, 7th, 5th. Like that was a good run for him last year.
But then you have Taylor Montgomery for $200 more.
Yeah, I like Taylor.
They can both go in the pool. I'm just saying that's the difference. I would play Hardy over Hall. I'm still against your guy.
Why do you hate Hall so much?
I just think it's dumb. Like, he just won an event. I think, again, he could be the guy that is one of those guys that fits the mold of costing more later on. But I don't know. Maybe it's because he looks like Bryson. That might be the reason.
Maybe, yeah, he does somewhat look like Bryson.
Or tries to look
he
like
wears
Bryson.
The hat.
He wears the hat.
He wears the hat. He was 8th he's played in 2 PGA Tour events. He missed in Corrales. He was 8th at Shriners. And you know when Sky gave me that list of the players who played the most difficult holes the best this season?
Yeah.
He was actually number 1, but he
I
only
know.
had like 25 holes.
So on that list, it's
Lowry is number 1.
Arnau, Hall, and Montgomery are on his list, but all those guys don't have a lot of shots. But I trust with Montgomery, even though without the win there that Hall had, you look at his strength across the board, it's like a lot of events, man. And like you said, maybe that's Hardy too. The fact that Hardy played well last week on a sort of warm-up for this event. He actually got some reps in. Don't think this plays anywhere near as easy as last week, obviously, but similar style at least. So I like that.
Need to check in with the C Whisperer. Do you have strong thoughts or vibes for his chances? Yeah, of course I do. Great.
You play him.
Probably going to win.
I don't know about that, but I think you play him. Well, It's a guy with massive upside when he's on. It's that he can miss the cut and just shoot that plus 17 and be out real quick.
And he's one of the few guys. I mean, he's not super long off the tee, but he's very accurate off the tee.
Yeah.
With that, he's a lot like Morikawa in that way, where he has a lot of fairway upside, decent distance upside, and unlike Morikawa, very good around the greens.
Yeah, Players champion.
Yeah, Wyndham champion.
Yeah.
Amex champion.
I mean, is he Sung J M for cheaper?
Nah or Neesmith. Neither.
Nah, but neither is probably
Nah is what I'll say.
Yeah, to both.
Any interest in Denny McCarthy? No, thank you.
We talked about Denny.
Big win for me with the Herbert rookie card. Great work all week. Congratulations, Justin, on winning that.
Oh, did you tell him it's actually a Lucas Herbert rookie card?
I mean, I'd take it.
the putting prowess?
Who's the other jabroni named Herbert on the Euro Tour? Not Lucas. The other
Air
one.
Bear. What's it? There's one is like it's like Bear.
Lucas Herbert, who I call Lucas Ebert, is from like New Zealand or Australia.
Guy Bear?
No, it's Ben. Ben Ebert from France is the other guy.
There you go.
Thoughts on Goddard or Adnas, who I think we're talking about? Adri. Double A.
AA, baby.
Double A is who I don't think I can go back to the Goddard well. Are you?
I thought about it, but no. Flop leg for sure, but I would go Adri if I was playing anyone there.
Pick one. Fitz, Berger, Im, or Homa. I like Berger.
Im or Homa.
Okay. More than Berger.
I'm not as high on Berger as you. Like, I think he's a good play, but I don't love him.
Thoughts on Bucket Hat, Joel Damon? Not for me this week.
No.
Tambo going back to Willie Z this week?
Always. Everyone thinks I hate the guy. I think you're an idiot when you bet him at 20-1 and 30-1. Anybody that does, that's for everyone that does that because you're not even getting even on the guy when he wins. And you probably have a card with like 8 guys this week where when he wins, you're getting 3-1. Congrats on the 3-1. But for me, I think he's a great play at 9,300 just because not the history so much, just like we talked about, but the ability to just find his way into the mix. We don't want him at the Birdie Fest as much as we want him at a course that's tough like this. I'd rather play him here. Where
is the best place to check in for a last-minute withdrawal before the tournament starts? I mean, if you know the answer to that, please tell me. But it's like PGA Tour comms on Twitter. Or just be on Twitter.
Be on Twitter.
Be on Twitter 30 minutes before lock and see what's up.
It's like 6:45 a.m. Eastern.
Is it start at 7 a.m. Eastern? Is that official lock time?
6:45, I think.
6:45? So yeah, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be up. If I see it, I'll put it out there.
I put it out there too, yeah, same.
I'm not trying to like squeeze you and hoard the information for myself.
If you live in the Pacific time zone, just stay up really late, I guess.
Yeah.
Set that alarm.
Get some Adderall and you'll be fine.
Yeah, good recommendation.
What was it? The U.S. Open app.
Yeah.
We have to download it to see, right?
Yeah.
But what expectations out of 10 about how good this is going to be? I'm going to say 1.4.
Oh, I would have given higher. I was given like a 6.
It was the worst of the bunch last year.
But then maybe it's recency bias. PGA was so bad.
I actually thought the PGA one was fine.
I didn't like it.
My expectations were so low for it. The fact that they had shot tracker in real time was like good enough for me. People were mad at the app because they were like showing like the first 8 and then like
it was bad.
It wasn't good.
What it was like out of sight, out of mind. That one was kind of funny to me. That complaint. It's like, look, if your guys suck, they go to the bottom. Like,
yeah.
It's like banned for life. It's like you're out of here, pal.
Yeah.
You didn't play good. Get them out of your sight.
Get fucking launched. And they were like, well, I can't see where the pins are.
Do you want to see?
I can't see where the pins are on the hole. Like that is secondary. Let's just make sure we can get the shots in real time and that they're accurate.
Yeah.
It accomplished that, which it didn't the year before because it was like 40 minutes behind.
Yeah. Did you see the USGA, or like, I guess it's the US Open, but the TV schedule?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I know the Live Tour and all that shit, but, like, at least you could watch it straight through. I'm not expecting that, but this is like you have to go 4 or 5 places on the same day. Is that going to be the same for us?
No.
I don't think so.
I think TSN's just going to have the 4 feeds like they do for every major. Just check them
I didn't
off.
dig into it yet, but I was like, gosh, I can't imagine having to go through all of that stuff just to be able to watch what I want
I
to
think
watch.
you can stream it all from the USGA app, though. I think so.
Maybe.
Besides Sung Jae, who has the most top 10 equity in the 7K range? Probably Connors.
7K range, I can tell you. Connors is good.
Mito. Wise. Keegan.
Keegan is good. Varner, actually.
I would say Siwoo because it's going to be top 10 or last.
That's true. If you extrapolate the numbers and move them around a little bit there, you can find a way. Siwoo's not quite as high, but for down in that bottom range, he actually is one of the better ones, him and Harmon.
Yeah, well, someone asked, Harmon or Siwoo?
Siwoo.
I think Harmon's quote-unquote safer.
Or yeah, Harmon's safer, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to round him out.
But you can win with, you could win with Harmon potentially. He's come second at a U.S. Open, but I feel like you could win with Siwoo.
I think it's still worth taking on some of the risk for the upside with Siwoo because he could be the guy that comes through where if your 8K guy that has better made cut equity and better top 20 equity than Harmon falls apart a little bit, you still might have Siwoo bringing up the rear at a lower ownership.
Favorite one and none of these 4 guys, Rom, Rory, Xander, or Cam Smith? I think you like Xander.
I have Xander only because
you don't want to use him.
The top 7, and I don't want to bet him, and I don't want to. 28-1 doesn't get it done for me on Xander. I don't care either about that.
And that's only if you have access to that special boost. It's like 16-1
that's true,
in other places.
They're still giving me it, which tells me I don't think it's a good bet. So like they've been hanging it on me for 2 days now. I'm like, I don't want this bet.
Since 6 of 6 will be harder this week, would it be wise to throw Stoneman, Seifert, and get 5 high upside guys? No.
And we gave you guys that
that are better.
Forget Mansell, the joke a little bit, but I'm playing them, so it's not a joke to me. I'm just saying if you don't believe in that, like Hardy, Montgomery, Hall, Min Woo, like you can find guys down that at least I'd feel better taking a shot on than Chase Seifert. But who knows with Chase Seifert could just pop up.
Which of your long shots do you think can make it into the top 10? Well, I'm playing them, so any of them.
I like List still. I bet him for top 8 each way because I think that's what I think he can legitimately get me.
List, Siwoo, and Woodland would be my picks of guys that could just, like, if they play well, they will be inside the top 10. But their miscut equity is massive.
I've got List, Siwoo, Henley, and Varner.
Okay. With the inevitable bad/changing weather in Boston, any thoughts on who you would trust along with Lowry? I think Lowry and Im are the 2 safest plays on the board.
Yep.
Even though Im very undercursed, which does worry me.
It's going to break the streak. I can't wait.
There it is. Oh, no. Poor Sungjae. He's undercursed.
Oh, God. Don't do that to me. Don't show that graphic.
Of the non-Scheffler, Rom, Rory guys.
Right.
Like $9,000 and below, those would be my 2. I like Berger a lot, too. Is Denny going to make the cut for us? People need to go fuck themselves.
They
with
love Denny.
You ask me about Denny again, you're banned for life.
Some poor soul that already asked the question.
Too bad. You should have anticipated this coming.
You should have known this was coming when you saw the chat, yes.
Can you do a quick breakdown on Siwoo and what's your thoughts on him? I don't need to do that. People know. Why do people ask me about Siwoo? What do they think I'm going to say about Siwoo?
I have no. They should know by now. If they're watching this, they should know.
It's been 7 years.
We just talked about it like 3 different ways.
Yeah.
Like he's actually played good at the Memorial. He's a boomer bust guy. He's at 7K, which is not a popular finish point for roster construction. Like there's a lot of things to say about it. But yes, he could miss the cut. So could Sungjae Im. So could Max Homa. You can keep going up the board. So could Will Zalatoris.
So could Scheffler and Rory.
Like you know this, and you're getting him discounted. So that's where you're taking the risk on. Simple.
Cantlay versus Zalatoris ownership. I think it's a lot closer than people think. Because you said Zalatoris potential to get squeezed. Cantlay a prime candidate of no one's playing Cantlay. I'll play Cantlay, and all of a sudden they're the same.
Yeah, they're both 12.
Yeah,
I could see it.
And I'd rather play.
Don't really care either.
I'd rather play Zalatoris than play Cantlay.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Who wasn't chalk on Sunday that is chalk now? I think it's very clearly Finau. Gained the most because he was going to be owned, but now he's going to be super highly owned.
Yeah, you could argue that. Rose probably went from like nothing to something. Rory definitely got the steam because of it, like even more than he already was. So, like Rory's already a guy people like, and he's safe, and he's good, and he's 10-5.
And he just won.
And then he wins.
And people, this is the part that I don't think that can be overstated when you're trying to project out ownership, especially for major championships in the $15 or the $5 in a very public event with a lot of people. People like Rory. People like Finau. People like Fleetwood for reasons. Like these guys are always more owned than you think.
Yeah. Don't forget to play a couple, by the way, JT Rory lineups. We talked earlier about using 2 10K guys. They actually had a conversation on the green in Canada after and said, let's do this again next week. So maybe they will.
There you go. There's your narrative.
There's your narrative.
Siwoo versus Harmon. More questions about that. Oh, another Denny McCarthy question.
And
It's a rank them with Denny in it. So I think that's safe. Guido, Ariel, or Denny McCarthy? It's Ariel.
I would actually play Denny out of that group.
I would play Ariel.
Yeah. Speaking of Denny, that is where I would play Denny.
You want to make a DraftKings scoring bet? Harry Hall versus Denny McCarthy?
Sure.
$100?
$100.
All right.
Live.
We'll lock that in. Free
that
Pat.
in
I'm going to
there.
go spend it right after this. This is going to be great.
Oh, God.
You doing a make or miss the cut parlay? I'm not. I mean, I'm going to play the 3 picks that Tim has and pick them all to miss the cut. I've already done that. It pays 18 to 1. That's just more for fun. But no, I think if you're going to make one this week, the smartest way you could do anything this week in terms of a make miss parlay is do a round robin of like the top 10 favorite guys, like Scheffler, Rory, all those guys, and round robin them to miss the cut. Because like 5 of them are going to miss.
I was going to say, you'd have to round robin at something like 5 or 6 out of 10 or something like that, which costs more, but I'm just saying at least, look, there can be carnage. It's U.S. Open. It's usually hit or miss. I posted today in the thread that like three years ago, it was like the main lineup that won the Millie had like 4 super chalk guys. Last year, it was like 1 guy. So, it just depends on the year, but this looks like a year there could be more carnage than expected.
So let's see. If you just play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top guys. So that's Rory down to Fitzpatrick. In terms of the odds, Rory is plus 400 to miss the cut. Fitzpatrick is plus 240 to miss the cut. Everyone else is in between. To play that as a straight parlay is that 1 million? If I make a $1 wager, it pays $16,000.
So put $2 on it.
So I should put $2 on it. But when you start round robining that, I play like the 3-way round robin.
Yeah.
So you'd have to pay 35 times your money. So a $2 bet would be $70.
You already won 100 off me just a
I
second
already
ago.
won 100 off you, so I got money to spend.
Yeah, there you go.
So I would probably do the 3-team parlay all combined together with that if you wanted to do it. But that would be the way.
Problem is, what people forget is like these guys don't necessarily miss the cut. What they can really do is
make the cut and then play poorly.
Screw you on DraftKings while making the cut. So that's my whole point. You got your 6 to 6, but then the guy that's heavily owned just falls back and the pivot ends up crushing him or something along those lines.
Who are the best lag putters out of the guys who gain the most strokes on approach? That doesn't matter because these are the smallest greens that they're going to see all year.
Not lagging up too much here.
No. The answer to that question is Corey Connors, though.
Always.
Good leg putter, horrible short putter.
What about Hughes, the other Canadian?
Well, he just makes it. He's not even a leg.
He doesn't need to lag it up, exactly.
So it's like Spieth. With 3 good rounds at the PGA, is Ryan Fox a decent play here? What is his ownership going to be? Because Ryan Fox this, Ryan Fox that. When I say Ryan Fox, no one wants to fucking play him, and he's good.
What don't we say Ryan Fox? That's how he started off.
I mean, if his name was Ryan Fox, then he would be the best.
We thought that at the PGA Championship. We used it there, and then he did out of the gate, but then he did not. He did not finish. So
Taylor Gooch spelled incorrectly, or Keegan Bradley for DFS. I'm going Keegan.
I'm going Gooch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who from the 11 to 10K range do you think has the highest miscut equity? I think it's Cameron Smith.
Smith or Kawa?
Okay. Who do each of you think misses the cut out of the top 15% owned players?
Misses
Finau?
the cut? Yeah. God, man. It's like...
I mean, it's probably Sungjae because he's Andrew Hurst.
Yeah. Sadly, it's probably... I just don't think it's Sungjae. I definitely don't think it's Sungjae. I think it's going to be Finau or Burns, maybe. Right? Now that Burns is getting punched up there into that range, I think it could be him. I worry about Burns, but I'm playing him. Like, I just think he's too good at that price. So.
Yeah, well, basically the same argument that you made for Siwoo, just Burns is the better version of that.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Bryson the biggest risk reward in the 7.9K range? Like, was there 2 guys there?
It's him and Connors.
It's him or Connors? I'd say even no. I think Connors just a much better play with higher risk. Like, it probably is the same risk, but higher reward.
You can put Connors at like 20% ownership, and you can put Bryson at 1%, and I still would play Connors. So that tells you what I'm doing there. So
Homa and Fitz or Lowry and Keegan? I like Lowry and Keegan.
it's Lowry and Keegan.
Hideki or Cantley the better pivot? I think Hideki is.
I have it as on my sheet here. I got it's actually pretty close. I got Hideki.
How much of big edge should we be considering going on higher golfers with better recent form than long-term form? That's like kind of a question.
What?
Pass.
Yeah.
Hey guys, love the show. I love you, Vinny Hurst. You're the best. Smash the like. Playing, I guess the listeners' league is full now. Yes. Who are some good high ball flight players to choose from this week? I mean, I don't think that's really going to make a difference because if you're in the rough, you're not going to get a high ball flight out of it.
Apex height, baby.
Yeah, just go search Apex height. You can find it.
Yeah, PGA stats, Apex. There you go.
And if it's windy, you don't want a high ball flight.
Yeah, you want guys that can kind of keep it a little bit. You want that sawed-off Rory wedge shot that he was using.
Oh, gosh. If it works again. You want the Neiman strike off the tee if you got that wind up. I can tell you that. I like Neiman at 8,900.
Dumb question. I'm new to this. Where do you see the final ownership that comes out on DraftKings? You can find it on DraftKings or just follow at SkyHookDFS on Twitter. He tweets it out right away.
Instantly. With analysis and stuff, too.
Yeah,
like breaking it down.
He's ready for it. Core for 3 max, Lowry, Berger, Sungjae.
Oh, God. I don't even know Im because I think he's the best chalk play. And then Burns, Lowry, I don't know. Like I don't have a core like that. Like, I'll have one at Run Pure Sports when I do something later, but usually I'm playing a lot of lineups like this week, and I'm going to play what my pool is, like my exposures.
Worth noting, runpuresports.com, the premium show with you and Big T, I assume, is on it tonight. Yep. If you're a sub at Run Pure Sports, you can go check that out. What's the discount code?
DGEN50, DEGEN50. Get yourself 50% off the first month.
And then that's behind the paywall, but you want some free stuff? Tambo will be back on Thursday evening on Mayo Media Network with Run Pure Sports crew doing round 2 showdown. And Tambo won't be there, but the rest of the Run Pure Sports crew will be back on Friday evening doing round 3 showdown. Weekend picks going into it. I'll be live with Feinberg and Tim, and maybe some of you doing both a dual Twitter Spaces and YouTube feed for the Cut Sweat live show on Friday evening. And I'm going to go watch my friend make his professional wrestling debut afterwards.
Oh, shit.
Which is going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Round 2, by the way, that free show went pretty good at the PGA Championship.
You won $100K.
Yeah, it's nice.
It went well for you. Actually, we won $125K.
Yeah, anyone else that played it, though. A lot of big winners that day, actually. The Discord was packed with them. They can't all win first place if I win first and second, but the point is the strategy was laid out and the opportunity was there.
Patrick Reed to miss the cut. That's not a question, so you're banned for life. Sorry!
No question mark?
What are your thoughts on, it was just a statement,
Yeah.
on Young Guns this week? Young, Davis Riley, Will Z. I'm using all 3 of those guys.
I like them all, but probably Riley is the one I like the least, actually, even though he's the best price. I'm interested in paying. I'm interested in overpaying for Cam Young, and we've talked enough about Will Zalatoris. Definitely like him.
What is your line on the Rory double? In fact, I don't even know. I can go look that up right now.
100?
No, it's more than that.
Was it 10 and 10?
It was 10 and 14.
Okay.
No, it was 11 and 14.
Well, there you go.
Thoughts on Nakajima or Hashino? Go ahead.
No, Nakajima is a very good amateur.
Not gonna make my lineups.
Not gonna make my lineups. I like that call. Yeah, definitely not in.
Did you like or dislike the show Doug from Nickelodeon? Okay, this is not the time for these questions. It was fine. Banned for life. 2v2, Wise and Reed or Finau and Molinari?
Oh, God.
Wise and Reed.
Probably Wise and Reed. I'm not in on this Molinari thing, I don't think, so we'll have to see. But at 6,900, it doesn't really do it for me.
Is Harris English still hurt? Any strong opinions on him either way? I don't know. He hasn't played well since he's been back, though.
It doesn't look like he's hurt from what I've seen. So, my buddy was at Sea Island, was watching him live, sending me video. Like, check this guy out. It's good to see him hitting full swings again, but this was like a week and a half ago, so I'm sure he's healthier now, and he was looking good there, but nothing that I see that would make me play him here, so I'm not interested.
Oh, good for me. I bet Harry Hall to win at 1,000 to 1 apparently on this site.
Nice.
Didn't even remember doing it.
How much could you win?
$5,000.
There you go.
Put a $5 on it.
$5,000 you don't have, so that's good.
Let's see. The odds on the Rory double are 149 to 1.
There you go. That makes sense with the numbers you gave, so
Yeah.
we're good.
So I hope I win.
Yeah, that actually is a live bet. The Harry Hall one is $5 in the garbage.
No.
That's
How?
more than a pinata pick.
That is more than a pinata pick. That's true. It just took outrageous. I'm glad I got my Rory money last week. Put it that way. If I lose this one, no big deal.
You had them separate, right, too?
Yeah, I bet him to win last week.
That's what I mean.
I'm not betting him to win this week, though, because technically I have him.
You
to
have
win
them
this
already,
week.
yeah, it's fine.
Is Answer the play this week due to ownership combined with his high floor? The problem is I don't think he has a high floor right now.
It's just where he's at, too. The good news is you will get the ownership discount, but I just don't see... And you could say he's the perfect pivot off of Sungjae, but, at 22... I've got Sungjae at high ownership. I've got Answer at almost no ownership, and they're basically the same play, so it's up to you how you think about that. I think Sungjae has the way higher floor.
I probably wouldn't take the guy who's lost on approach in 4 straight starts.
Yeah.
That's me. How much is Pat playing out Tim's picks? The curse is swaying you either way. No. I mean, I already have the bets in. What am I going to do? You can't cash them out.
Yeah, cancel anything to do with I think Morikawa he might get right on, but I don't think he's going to be right on him.
I mean, you played the miss the cut parlay at like 17-1.
18-1.
Yeah. I just played it right now. It's
Oh,
like 17
it's down.
something.
We're getting steam. Tim's moving markets.
Tim's moving markets, yeah.
Pick 2. List, Siwoo, Hadwin, Molinari, Noren. List and Siwoo.
Yep, same for me.
How instead of baby swag, it's birthday swag for Tim. Fleetwood, Fox, or Rose and Riley? Ugh. You play
Fox.
Riley and
Fleetwood Fox. For me.
I'm only playing Riley of those 4 guys.
Yeah, you could play Riley and Siwoo.
Oh, there's a guy that you banned here, Paul, that had like 35 consecutive messages.
Yeah, he
was
was
he posting
very,
porn?
very clearly a bot.
Was it a porn
all
bot?
the exact same question.
Was it a porn bot?
I don't really. You could look at the view message. I don't even know
suppose
what
I
it was
could.
about, but it was clearly spam.
Yeah, well, that guy can go fuck himself. Maybe he already did. I don't know. It seems
Or
like
a girl,
It's a
or
guy.
a robot,
It's a robot.
or
It could
how
be
do
a
you know?
girl. It could be
Don't say it, Paul.
anything.
Thoughts on Leishman? No one seems to be talking about him. I like him at harder events. Just every time I use him, he's so bad.
Probably a reason why no one's talking about him, right? It's again
He was fine at the PGA Championship. I used him at the PGA Championship. He was fine.
Gosh, I don't have anything on Leishman. Like he doesn't fit my numbers. He doesn't show up. Like, do you have any? Like, do you have anything that you could? Because I told you earlier, that's what worries me is like the $7,200 range. Like Scott,
He hasn't
Reed,
finished better
Leishman.
than 30th since Riviera.
Yeah.
And he's been losing around the greens. He's been losing on approach. He sucks off the tee. You have to hope that he continues his hot putting run. I don't want to do that.
I just haven't seen anything. It was but it was back earlier in the season. His good finishes were Genesis and Farmers. Tougher courses, stronger fields. We'll see.
Pat, what about young gun Kevin Streelman? Is Streelman in the field?
I don't even think he's in it.
It's too bad because he's
not even in the field.
He's the lock member of the Young Gun team. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
A lot of mixed information on the difficulty this weekend. Homa and Kiz think they can win, but Rory described it as Bethpage with pebble greens. What can we expect? Well, you just talked about 3 guys who played the fucking course and they gave you something different. What do you think that we think about it? Why would it matter what we think about it?
I would trust Rory's analysis more so. The guy high level that just won. That's everyone's going to say they think they can win. One guy just did. So, and Homa's great too. Don't get me wrong. I love Homa, but I'm just saying I would trust what Rory's saying on that.
Thoughts on Justin Rose boosted to 100-1? I honestly think he is the biggest trap of this week. I'm ready for it to be like stupid. And the first round of the Canadian Open, how many like 50-foot putts did he make? And then he's chipping in for eagle 4 times in one round. Like, give me a break.
I can't stand him. So, yeah, I've got no interest in that. I don't think he's winning. So
I made a lineup with 4 7K guys. Do you think that's viable or too watered down? I think it's fine.
that's plenty fine. Yeah.
Is Riley going to be most popular last man in this week? I don't think so.
No. Someone in the set, like even him, you can get him in as your last guy. But
Keegan.
I think, Keegan,
Rose,
we just talked about at the bottom.
Werner is
And
the
then-
same price.
and
I think
then-
Werner's going to be higher on than Riley.
Yeah, maybe. And then also the guys down low are not the highest in because of ownership will dictate this. But I'm saying you'll still have guys in the 6K range get put in like Fox, McCarthy, etc. So, a lot of those builds end in one 6K guy.
When is the next Live tournament? I believe it's next week in Portland, isn't it?
I think it's June 30th.
Oh, is it June 3rd? It's up against the Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, June 30th.
Whenever that
Next
is.
week's Travelers.
Then Rocket Mortgage.
I think so. So it's the one. Yeah, it's 2 weeks from now.
I sneaky like the Travelers Championship.
Yeah.
One of my favorite events.
It's got a
every
good
year.
field. I saw the other day. I think it's Rory, Scheffler, JT. We'll see what happens. But I think these guys know what they're playing in. So
The PGA Tour. Jay Monahan got on the line with. Scheffler just all of a sudden shows up to Canada to play out of nowhere.
wasn't it JT?
JT showed up too.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul has his hand raised. This is going to be interesting.
This is off the. I was thinking about this last night, but how does Keith Mitchell not in the field when there's so many other like jabronis in this
his
field?
finish at
And, he won Honda like a couple
His
4 years ago.
Yeah, it's a while
Yeah,
ago now.
but,
When Ricky was good. Ricky was an onlooker with Brooks that year,
Yeah.
waiting for a playoff when he banged home the 16-footer or whatever to win it.
So I
So
was just surprised.
I think Mitchell came close in his queue.
Keith Mitchell qualified for the Open Championship based on his top 7 last week in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you weren't getting in last week.
No, but that's how he. That's how
he get into the
that's
next
how he's
one.
going to be in
Yeah,
the
for
British
sure.
Open.
Golf is so confusing sometimes.
I agree. He's actually having a really good year. T12, T10, T9, T7, T18. He's missed one cut.
I think he came close in his Monday queue too to try and get in.
But you have to remember, a lot of the qualifications for the majors happened the year before, and he was kind of bad last year. He had 2 or 3 good finishes, but a lot of miscuts.
Remember, yeah, it was almost like a resurgence at the start of this year when you're like, oh, maybe Keith Mitchell's back. And we were getting him on DraftKings at cheaper prices and stuff like that too. So I think that's more interesting to look at for next time. But Nothing for this week.
This course feels very cerebral. Who are a few golfers that come to top of mind of golf IQ?
God, what are these questions? Like, no.
Morikawa is up to 30-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. What's the auto bet number? I mean, I see him at 30. I'm staring at a 33 right now.
Are you?
I think 40 is the number.
How do you still have that? I lost that one too. They just keep wanting to get me on X at 28.
I know. There's a really cool place you can bet.
Oh, the cool spot. I know that. Yep.
I believe they were hanging at 33 this morning. I'm not literally staring at it.
I texted
right
you 33 last week.
Yeah.
Or the start of this week, I should say. And I was like, here it is.
I thought it would get higher, to tell you the truth.
doesn't.
I'm surprised it is not.
If it got to 40 right now, I would bet it and be happy.
Yeah, I think 40 is just the blind auto bet number.
But then, like, that's my whole point to my saying earlier. If you bet, you won your 140 or your 70, what are you going to be mad about? Just bet them at 33.
Yeah, but
I know it feels better. I get it. I'm just saying.
33 at that place right now.
Stupid.
Cameron Young 50, Berger 60.
See, it's like also with Cam Young. I want a 60. I don't want a 50.
I know, me too. But I think that's because I missed out on the good Max Homa number.
What's Burns?
Burns is, oh boy,
28.
Where is 30? Same as Lowry and Spieth. Spieth 30 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, Spieth's not bad if you want him.
X 25, but there's 28 at the other spot. It's the best Scheffler number too. That's 17 to
25 Burns is up to now. Jeez.
His ownership is going to be through the roof.
It's $8,300.
If he's jumped 40 points in the betting market in the past 3 days.
I think you can still get away with it. I'm just saying you can't have all those dudes. You can't play Rory, Fitz. You can't play Fitz, Burns, Im together.
Are the winners selected for the DK contest on this show?
I think we did that at the very beginning.
Yeah, didn't? No, that's when I gave away the prizes at the beginning. If you're talking about the Twitter giveaway, if you didn't see a ticket show up in your account, spoiler, you didn't win. Who's your big bullet guy for under to 20-1? It's Scotty Scheffler for me. He is my favorite of the top guys by far.
I still like JT, but I can't get a number on that either.
Lowry and Finau or Zalatoris and Fitzpatrick? I like Lowry and Finau actually.
Lowry and Finau, yep.
Thorn Bjornsson, Cinderella story. Not a question, banned for life. Hey, Pat and Tambo, wondering your thoughts on Mackenzie Hughes and Jim Furyk as possible 6K options.
We're getting close. That's got to be...
Not the model of players that I'm looking at.
Definitely not Jim Furyk.
Is Wyndham Clark too awful with his approach play to consider this week? I mean, he just had a good week, but no, not for me.
Not for me.
He's too
either.
expensive.
Yeah, first round leader, if you want to try that, or showdown.
Yeah. Paul?
Hedge it.
I don't know if it's legit or not. I'm trying to find like somebody with like
a blue check mark?
Yeah, but apparently Jordan Spieth didn't feel well leaving the range today and doesn't know if he's gonna play.
What?
Jeez.
But like, who is this? Yeah, that account has
was it Feinberg?
That account has 5 followers, so I wouldn't really trust that.
Are you throwing out fake news to fuck with people?
People in the chat at the bottom of the chat are throwing out this fake news. So then I went on Twitter to try. Developing story at Brooklyn. Jordan Spieth has left the course with what appears to be a sickness. We'll keep you updated. And that's from something called Spieth Central.
Oh, there's one called, the guy who tweeted it out says, breaking, Jordan Spieth unsure. There's nothing attached to it, no information. And they have 5 followers, and it's called Jacked Up Golf.
Yeah, that was that was the first one.
It's going to be, you know what it's going to be? Jordan Spieth flu game.
Also,
and he's going to come out and get the job done.
Their ones to watch this week are Scheffler, Rahm, and Rory. Good picks.
Oh, man.
Keep an eye on it. Don't want to
or don't. Who
knows? Or don't, but I wouldn't completely discard it if this is like a real thing.
Yeah,
but
set your alarms like we said. What time Spieth go off tomorrow?
He's early.
I think he was.
He's AM, PM.
Pretty sure he's an AM guy, so you should know.
Or you won't.
Or you won't. Exactly.
Favorite first round showdown play? Thanks, Pat and Tambo. I accept Straka.
Oh, God. I didn't even look at it yet. I'm trying to get through these shows first and then build for that. But AM guys, like I said, I'd go there and showdown.
2v2, Reed and Adri or List and Siwoo?
List and Siwoo.
There we go. Should we do a Bay Hill leaderboard stack and just be on our way?
I did, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it so much on the show
Scheffler,
that day.
Hovland, Hatton.
It's crazy. Billy Ho's in there.
And Rory.
From recent. I had a bunch of API guys in. Trust me, I made some.
Thoughts on Adam Scott? Pass.
Not in.
Thoughts on Noren?
Not in.
Not in?
If he's, I don't, but I'm saying if you want to put him in instead of Harmon or instead
Siwoo
of those
or
guys
List?
that becomes your grinder or whatever down there, go ahead. But I like the List, Siwoo, Harmon plays more.
Does Decky come in with low ownership with all the Xander, Willie Z, Lowry love? Any interest in Hoshino, who fared well at the last U.S. Open? I think Decky does come in low-ish for him, and I think actually Willie Z comes in low.
Yeah, Decky's for sure going to be lower. Cantlay, like you said, Willie Z might come in at the same, but they're both lower than what's around them. So I'm okay. Now Jordan, maybe the Jordan Spieth situation is something that develops and we see him, where would that, think about that. That goes to Willie Z for sure and Cantlay.
Any love for Munoz, 150 to 1? He's on that short list of guys I might play with the placements.
Nito?
No, Munoz.
Munoz.
I like Munoz.
I like Munoz, and I like his price, 7,400, because it's not just a better price than the guys at 75 and above, but it's also a roster construction area where people just aren't going to as much.
Who are the Euro and Asian Tour Montgomerys? It's that guy, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Richard Mansell. And who else did we talk about? There was one more.
MJ Defu?
No,
he's Corn Ferry.
He's Corn Ferry. It was another guy. Audrey's there. Ryan Fox.
I'm not playing Ryan.
I know. I'm just saying that was the guys, though. If you're looking at the Euro, they're talking about who's the Euro guys. That would be the ones.
Scotty Zalatoris or Cam Smith for one and done. Let's go. I'm using Scotty. So.
Scotty, big dog, use him up.
Yeah, I believe most people probably used him at this point anyway.
I think so. But they probably paid off a lot more with it, so you've got to try and catch them. This is the spot to do it.
Tambo, thanks for the Millie ticket.
Awesome.
Says Fritz Hannering.
Oh, Fritz.
Shout out from Germany, probably. Or not. Or just German name. Do you think it's viable in a large GPP to play two of the chalk plays like Xander and Im if you get different elsewhere, like a low 10K guy with a 6K guy?
Yes. Very viable. And that's what I'm talking about, where some of this chalk is going to get there, I think. I don't think everything busts completely because the pricing came out. It wasn't that it came out early, it just came out poorly, like we've talked about a couple times. So you can get away with some of it, just don't play all of it, and that's different.
You having a cut sweat show? Check the newsletter. It's in there. You can find out then. Are there any random little known injuries we should know about other than Billy Ho's finger? Decky's neck feeling okay? What are we, fucking doctors?
Well, we've been the Decky whisperers lately, but I
Sure,
haven't seen
because someone told us.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on tracking Hideki to say anything different. So you have to go with the flow and just trust it. If you're playing him, play him. If not, don't. Don't need to go crazy either. The ownership's not there, so you don't need to get nuts.
Thoughts on Jim Furyk?
Literally zero.
Don't hate on Fran Quinn. All right, these questions are starting to make me mad. I don't like them anymore.
Fran Quinn.
Do you want me to answer some of the questions?
Yeah, you start. Let's throw it to Paul.
What do you think of Fran
Am I
Quinn?
brain dead for wanting to play Sync? Maybe.
I think I might need to have a Sig. Sig live on the show.
Stuart Sig.
Stuart Sig.
Yeah, get it in you. Paul Barjon's not here, so.
Long Dong, Paul Barjon. Wise, Rose, Straka, or Munoz? Straka, then Munoz, then Wise. I actually like three of those.
Munoz and Wise for me out of that group.
Who do you guys like for first round leader? My gut is saying Finau. Besides the guys that I bet and listed as first round leader, no one.
I'll probably take a shot on Rory.
Uh-oh. Are you interested in playing Denny McCarthy? Banned for life.
Done. Everyone loves McCarthy for some reason. He's going to come out and crush now, I guess. I don't know.
The whole chat just wants answers on whether Spieth is playing tomorrow now.
Yeah, well, we don't have the fucking answer.
We don't even know. It came from someone with 5 followers. We have no idea if that's real.
There is one
or not.
account called the Spieth Legion. Kenny Kim, your co-host on
I would trust it then.
Fantasy
Kenny's
Golf.
on all hours.
He quote tweeted it and said, "Great." And apparently this guy is there in Boston.
How do we know? How do we know that?
He claims to. His name is Spieth Legion, and he only tweets about Jordan Spieth. He could be.
Yeah, he's one of the tracker accounts. The tracker accounts will come at you, man. They don't want.
He said that he's sick and not sure if he's going to play.
All right.
Just pay attention to Twitter, and you'll figure it out.
We have so much time. It's 1:40 Eastern time. There's a lot of time left to go.
Winning score this week.
I'm struggling. What do you think?
-4.
I was gonna say -5, but it's one guy, and
Yeah.
I know that one guy wins, so that's the point. I'm saying I think there's like a 2-stroke or 3-stroke gap. I don't think we see the playoff that we talked about on Saturday. I just don't.
Oh my God. Sean Jacqueline's dad won a major. Does that entice either of you to play him?
Sean Jacqueline? Don't know, man. Ask Paul.
Paul?
Would that entice you, Paul, to play him?
Well, my dad was a judge, and I've broken the law a whole bunch of times. So some of these things don't really
Correlate?
Don't really correlate.
Perfect answer, by the way. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about Power as a pivot off Sungjae? I like it. We're playing together.
They're playing together. Yeah.
Thoughts on
I like
Seifert? Pass.
Yep, same as you.
Riley or Webb? Riley.
Riley for
We're
me.
back into the good questions now.
Yeah, I like that one. Riley.
Harmon, Na, or Siwoo? Siwoo.
Siwoo, Harmon, nah, rank them.
Power or Gooch? Power.
Ooh, I'm on Gooch.
How much of an effect has Liv had on Na? I don't fucking know. Do you? Do you know how much of an effect it's had on him?
He got richer.
Yeah.
That's the effect I know of.
Rank Hideki, Fitz, Lowry, Burns. Lowry, Hideki, Fitz, and Burns for me. I like Fitz more than Burns.
Lowry, Burns, Hideki, Fitz.
Straka or Scott? Straka.
Gosh, bad. Straka, though.
Can you play 4 of the chalky AK guys in a lineup that starts with Lowry? We talked about that earlier.
We talked about that. You can.
I think that you can. Spieth, Na, Louis, or Berger, Fitz, Straka? 10-player tourney, winner take all. Second one.
Spieth, Na, Louis, Berger, Fitz, Straka?
Berger, Fitz, Straka.
Oh, I'm on the first one way higher. Spieth?
No.
Na, Spieth and Louis?
Berger, Fitz?
Oh, gosh. Two of the same guys. Those are bear-offs dudes. The guys that never get the job done. Just the same guy.
Yeah, but you're only playing in a 10-person tournament.
It's true.
Just give me that floor to
Spieth
win.
is sick, too. Don't forget. So we can't.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's
died
not
on the
playing.
course today.
He's not playing.
But he's questionable for tomorrow.
If he is out, where does the ownership all go
Xander.
Xander, but it also
And
goes to what we
Zalatoris.
talked about earlier. Zalatoris and that Cantlay.
And DJ.
No one's playing Cantlay.
And DJ, too. DJ will see just a bump inherently because of it, because
Yeah,
he's
I think-
$100 less.
Yeah, $100 less for the people who spend
Xander,
all of their money.
Zalatoris, Cantlay, DJ.
Yeah.
That'd be the order.
But I would say most of that goes to Xander.
Yeah, people will find it.
Would Xander become the highest owned guy if Spieth doesn't play?
Probably.
I would think.
He's probably already up there somewhere, 18-ish or something.
Yeah,
so
he'd be
we'll
like
have to wait and see. But now he
29.
goes to like 21 or 22 and then more.
Is
in
he a
high
good
stakes.
player? I can't figure out if he's a good player or not. Xander.
Never came worse than top 7.
I know. Well, then how could that ever change?
Exactly. that probably tells you my answer sarcastically.
Bryson, Bradley, or Zalatoris to win? Well, the answer is Zalatoris because his odds are way better than the other two
Bryson
guys.
and Bradley versus Zalatoris
Yeah.
to win? Holy.
I mean, I bet Keegan to win, but that was at 80 to 1.
It shouldn't be close, man. Not the way Bryson's playing right now, and not the way, like as I said yesterday about something about Phil and DJ's career right now versus Rory and Rahm. Like obviously Rory and Rahm are playing lights out better than them. How their careers stack up differently? Absolutely. Phil played years ago, picking up those wins, got like 45 of them. It has nothing to do with how they're playing right now, and this would be the same scenario.
What will Roy's ownership be in the Millie Maker compared to the Mega Millie? Will the higher stakes players be lighter because he's chalky? No, he'll be even chalkier in the bigger
Yeah,
stakes.
safety first. I think they'll go. I think he goes up to 35
I could see him pushing 40.
in the mega. Thing is, but don't forget, Rahm and JT will be higher. Scheffler will probably be similar. And
What is Sungjae's ownership in that? Does he now become the highest price guy or the highest owned guy? Because
might be 40%.
favorite 2.7K for a large field GPP,
What's the price?
$7,000 range.
Oh, all 7,000 for a large field.
Like if you're looking for just objectively the two best plays, Keegan and Sungjae.
I think they want like a sleeper play
Then
because
Power and Munoz.
Munoz is probably a good one, and then those guys down at 7K like List or Siwoo.
Connors or Mito? Connors.
Connors.
Late to the video. Do you like Harold Varner this week? I don't. You do.
I do.
I believe Brooks is using a tailor-made driver again in practice rounds. His driving had been off for most of the part of the season using the new Strixon driver. Does that change anything for you? No, I'm not using Brooks because I don't want to bet on Brooks.
Patrick Reed 2.0 switched the driver out, had one good week, and then never loved him. So maybe it's this week.
He is the answer to who am I most terrified, just making me look silly this week. The answer is Brooks.
Is it? I don't know. The only thing not still sitting there is the 66 they tried to offer me, but they just hung it for so long that I feel like I'm not too worried about it.
Brooks just got married.
Yeah,
He's screwed. He hasn't been practicing.
Him and Luda might add a few practice rounds they get in. I don't know, but
getting
I'm
that
not worried
cardio
about
up.
it. Yeah.
Berger getting the ice bath last night. Injury scare? I mean, I had an ice bath 2 days ago, and just because I like to.
Do you make one at your house, or you have one machine?
No,
or?
there's a cryo place in town that I go to, and they
Okay,
also
nice.
have ice baths. It's just good for you. Maybe he is injured. I don't know.
Moneybags Mayo back at it again, out at the ice pit.
Well, I already spent the $100 that I used winning from you in this
I'm
bet.
assuming it costs more than that, but we'll find out.
It doesn't cost much more than that. By the
Okay,
way.
really? Wow.
And you feel so good afterwards.
Everyone says that, so yeah, I might have to check it out.
It's really weird.
Yeah, obviously. I
Really
can't imagine.
weird.
You're just like freezing yourself out.
Yeah. Patrick Reed, a good fit? Yes.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the U.S. Open shows. You guys mentioned Phil by name, and that was absolutely it. Nothing more. He may be 51, but he just won a major. Then you should play Phil. It sounds like you're pretty convinced.
He won it at like, what, 500 to 1 or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I mean, guaranteed to win this
Sure
week.
it'll happen
Use him.
again.
Go nuts. I actually hope Phil wins. I
I
think that is the single best thing that could happen for golf. It would just be the meltdowns from these fucking sanctimonious people would just inject that into my veins.
It's career Grand Slam too, right?
Yeah, career Grand Slam. Yeah. And all I hear is just like, oh, well, like the people that really hate that he plays, like he went to live. It's like, well, the Boston fans aren't going to let him hear the end of it. It's like,
they love
they're
him.
probably going to cheer him on.
No, did you see there's practice yesterday? They're going nuts. They're coaxing him into betting again. He's in the interview saying like, I'm getting better for myself. And they're like, hey, Phil, Warriors or Celtics? Because it's on like, I think he said, I got Celtics.
I think people really
He's there, of course.
People really underestimate like the person that goes and sees a major. It's like your real casual fan who probably doesn't even know fucking live exists.
They're not even on Twitter. So I was gonna say they have no idea what's going on, man. It'll hit Facebook 2 months from now, and then we'll get the next uproar. But that's what it.
We are getting. You could have at least talked about why you aren't picking Phil. I don't like this guy.
Cancel him.
Can't ban for life.
Ban him.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It didn't sound like a question, really. Well, he was questioning.
It sounds like he's fucking being petulant and
Some of those
complaining. That's why he
plays,
gets the petulant.
Like that's what bugs me, and I know it bugs you because the questions though. It's like if you need to ask that means you're considering it. So do what you like.
Do what
It's
you
your
wanna
money.
do.
It's your play him.
It's your fucking
You're
money.
so mad that we don't talk about Phil. Play Phil.
Why don't you like him as much as me?
Dunk on us.
I think he's the best, and I think you should play him. And I'm very upset that you don't let
Non-stop.
Because they're cowards and they want to be able to
blame me.
You.
They want to be able to
if
blame
Phil
Pat
doesn't
Mayo
the
when they
cut.
make a shitty pick. But
I come from the era you go and play his ass. You tag our ass on Twitter if he does well, and you dunk on us. That's what you go and do.
Yeah.
Not cry and whine about it. So I like that call for sure.
Fading Fleetwood. What's a good pivot?
I'm not fading Fleetwood, so I don't
I'm
know.
fading Fleetwood, but Connors, Munoz, Keegan, they're all there.
Wise probably is the one that's right there. Louis or Wise?
Any injury notes to this point? Spieth died, but he might be alive now. I'm not sure.
Billy Ho's fingers half chopped off. So
Yeah, he was chopping wood for no reason. Just cut his hand off.
put it in the boat.
Yo, he's
Yeah.
questionable. You got it wrapped up. We'll see about him.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Sharon Twedich at 62? Oh, my God.
Who? What?
All right, I think we're at the end of the line.
I never even
We're not
heard
even
of this
like
person.
I don't want to discard the good questions.
No,
here.
go to the good ones. I'm saying, but who did they say?
Seems like most of them are
Sharon
pretty bad at
Twedich?
this point.
Who is this person?
It's a lot of a repeat of questions. So if we've answered this question, I'm just going to go on from it. Who finishes higher, Sungjae or Neiman? I'll say Sungjae.
Neiman.
Minwoo Lee at $6,400 worth a shot just based off talent. I was looking at him a lot this week. He does bomb it, but I like the other guys that we talked about better.
We talked about the narrative on Minwoo Lee. His sister Minji winning the women's U.S. Open, and now he was in the mix of the Masters, no joke, right? He had that Sunday round that could have been something, but I'm playing Minwoo Lee.
Is Brian Harmon a horrible play? I do not think so.
I think if you use him any way other than like the last guy in as a strict guy just to make the cut and get you a top 30, and you've got 5 guys you think have firepower, then he's a bad play. Otherwise, I think he's okay.
Siwoo has a house in Boston. Over under hole-in-ones this week, 1.5.
Oh, God. Hey, last time someone had the house,
They won.
Cam Smith, the joke at the Players, and he shipped. So
Taylor Montgomery talked about him. Why are there so many fucking questions about Jim Furyk?
what is going on right
You
now?
play Jim Furyk stacked with Denny McCarthy, and you have yourself a time, all right?
I still want to know who Sharon Twedledge is or whatever this person asked about earlier.
Neiman or Fitz? Neiman. Thoughts on Horsfield? We're both in, I think.
I'm in, yep.
Spieth, yes, we know Spieth left the range. Thank you. Maybe he actually left the range. How you feel about Gary this week? He's in my pool.
Gary Woodland?
Yeah.
No, he's the guy that worries me. Like I said, that range. We couldn't get sold on. Like there's Leishman, Reed.
Yeah, but I like Gary.
Straka,
Gary's biggest skill is what translates to a U.S. Open. If he shows up with it.
Okay.
In my mind, because he fucking bombs it, and he can be very.
What has he
accurate.
been doing lately? Before we did kind of like him.
Fuck all. He was great in Florida, and then that was it for him.
Yeah.
I think he popped somewhere once. It was like, oh yeah, let's use him. Then like, no, bad. Yeah, he was 34th at the PGA Championship. He was 8th at Valero, is where it was. Let's see. Since around the green is so penal and green so small, would you consider ball strikers and sand saves who 3-putt too much to be a relative weakness or canceled out here? I think there's merit to that. If you want to play that angle, I can't discredit it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo, Tambo. Well, that's not a question. Banned for life. What are your... Gooch or Webb?
Gooch.
Gooch for me. 10 top 10... Oh, it's this fucking guy. I thought I banned him. 10 top 10s at the U.S. Open for Phil.
He's not still here.
I told you the questions are getting bad at this.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to go down to the bottom.
Came back.
One guy's asked the same question like 5 times.
What is it?
Point.
What's the question?
Your number one, number two, live players to play. But he's done it like 6 times.
Oh, well, there he is right there. Banned for life. Easy stuff. You can only ask the question once. It's people like this that have ruined the chat for everyone.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, you just, the scroll you did just lost like maybe 10 good questions in
Yeah, I
there.
know. I feel bad.
Because of Phil guy.
Phil guy?
The lefty lover that came in and wanted to tell us all of his life stats and history.
Yeah.
And we don't give a shit.
Yeah, just don't care.
Yeah.
Hope Phil wins.
Yeah, that would be good for golf. So would DJ versus anybody. Like DJ Rom down the stretch would be an incredible. How do you think the fans would react? I think it would be good.
If it was Phil and DJ down the stretch?
Oh, no, Phil and DJ would be even better. But if you had DJ taking all that money and Rom stepping up yesterday saying that $400 million basically is no good to me.
It's funny on who it would be, right? Like if it was DJ versus Rom, 100% of people are behind Rom.
DJ Rory.
100% of people are behind Rory. But if you inject Phil into the mix, Phil will have his supporters.
So we want Phil.
We want Phil. Phil is like the biggest story of all of this. Because although 100% of people on Twitter hate him, he's still well liked.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree. You can go Phil versus any of those guys. I want Phil versus Rory.
It'd be like if Louis got into it. People would still like Louis.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they'd be rooting for him, get this other one.
Let's get there. Let's get the win.
Close one out. You didn't, because Rom stole it from him last time. Hey, we could have Rom Louis.
He didn't steal it from him. Louis did that to himself by driving it out of bounds.
Oh, it's horrible. I know that. But even Rom got everything to go his way. He played out of the bunker sideways and had to make the putt. Like, it worked out. But Rom versus Louis could be a thing. It was last time.
Yeah. I think Louis is a play.
I like Louis.
Yeah.
He's the exact same price as Sung Jae. You can play them both. I'm just saying that is pretty interesting at the end of the week. That'll be something you'll be thinking about.
I know Bryson might not be the best play given his recent history, but as a result, wouldn't he have to have more upside than a 6K guy than like Ryan Fox?
But yeah, it costs $1,200 more.
Yeah, I don't understand that
He
comparison.
should have more and he costs more.
It's been a long week.
It has.
I appreciate the good people who tuned into the show, not the Phil guy. Don't like that guy.
The lefty lover is out, man.
Yeah.
Too much love.
Too much love.
One thing to love, like you said, the fans still love lefty, but I don't.
Listen,
we don't need that in the chat.
Again, it's all for sure. If you want to play someone, play them. Don't let us talk you out of them. It's your money.
Yep. If we knew all the stuff, we would win every week.
Yeah, if I knew all this stuff, I wouldn't be doing a fucking show. I'd be
go.
using it to win all the money, and then you'd never see me again. So I wouldn't need to do the show.
It's the way to do it.
I like doing it. Put it this way, I'm better at doing the show than I am making the picks. I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in. We did this for like 2 hours. We have to get out of here so the Dogger Pass podcast can film very soon. Tambo, do you have anything else to add to U.S. Open Week? Because I'm so pumped for it to start. You're on tonight.
Yeah, we'll have our show over at Run Pure Sports. Talked about it earlier. Use promo code DGen50. I got everything else that I'm doing on Twitter at Toe Tag and Tambo. Follow me there. Got the thread out this morning. It's pumping big today because it's a major, so it's loaded with information. Finally, last week sucked. There was only like 12 things I could find that I actually was interested in. This week, lots of good content out there. So yeah, hit me up on Twitter at Toe Tag and Tambo.
Sub to the newsletter. That's my last piece of content, the most up-to-date piece of content that will come out tonight. Free to join down in the description. And if you do have any more questions, good questions, obviously, at the PME on Twitter, I'll be around most of the night, taking whatever you got coming at me. Unless they're really bad, and I'll block you. And that'll just be the end of that. It'll be easy. It'll be easy stuff. It's like getting banned for life, but on a different platform. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Smash the like on the way out. I will see you next time.